Welcome to Novel Love Hearing. We bring you hundreds of novel audiobooks covering every genre and every kind of story you can imagine. Action? We've got it. Adventure? Absolutely. Horror? Of course. Whether it's the legendary Uchiha Massacre or outrageous tales like stealing Naruto's and Sasuke's women, you'll find it here. From epic series like One Piece, Bleach, Fairy Tail, and Hunter x Hunter, to countless other adventures, our library has it all. Love novels but don't have time to read? No worries, just plug in your earbuds, sit back, and let the story take over. Good listening, and happy hearing, continuing forward along the trail of blood. Since they can take turns, along with timely food and water replenishment, everyone's advance consumption is minimal, switching every hour. Maintaining a uniform speed of 10 km per hour, racing across the wilderness, getting off when encountering slopes, pushing the vehicle forward. Along the trail left by the wolf pack, they advance step by step, pressing so hard the wolves can never stop to rest. Eventually, with everyone clinging tightly, the team enters a valley. Ahead is a slope over 100 meters high, surrounded on three sides by mountains, with only a flat retreat route at the back. This is a dead-end trap. Li Hu and others then get off the vehicle to observe the terrain. On the ground, the wolf pack's claw prints diverge into 4 or 5 different directions. They already know someone is tailing and chasing them. Lin Feng looks around the terrain, feeling a sense of unease. With this slope, all of us have to get off and push. If the wolf pack suddenly attacks, we'll be flanked. I suggest we head out first and take a detour to have a look. Li Hu frowned slightly. He actually wanted to keep chasing along the direction of the largest claw prints. The wolf pack was already within reach. There's no reason to waste time taking a detour, giving up the hard-won shortened distance. But Lin Feng is right. If this is a trap set intentionally by the wolf pack, ambushing everyone while pushing the vehicle, just like last time, trying to catch them off guard, then the offense and defense would swap. As Li Hu was troubled, not far on the slope, a figure of a giant wolf suddenly emerged. That giant wolf, compared to the nearby rocks, was a full 4 meters big, comparable to a tricycle, similar in size to the level 9 rock-horned horse Lin Feng's group hunted last time. The massive wolf head stained with blood bore a blood-filled mouth armed with fine steel fangs. The wolf eyes, as big as bells, were full of blood color, with its bared teeth, displaying a fierce demeanor. As it howled to the sky, responding howls echoed from the surrounding valley slopes. Li Hu locked eyes with it, his expression instantly turning ferocious, eyes filled with killing intent, raising the sharp broadsword in his hand. This very creature, the leader of the desert wolf pack, killed his team members and ruined his evolution path. As the surrounding wolf howls intensified, a wolf fang arrow flew rapidly with a space-breaking momentum, shooting straight at the wolf at the summit. The fight was about to begin. Chapter 34, Tank, Melee, Rout, and Ambush. The wolf pack leader's size is more than half as big as the old desolate wolf from before. It's also much better than when Lin Feng and the others encountered it while hunting rock-horned horses 3 or 4 days ago. Through these days of frenzied hunting, the wolf pack not only healed their injuries but also leveled up significantly. Chen Shanshan decisively shot the wolf fang arrow, breaking through the air at a speed of 100 meters per second, aiming at the wolf pack leader 100 meters away. But the other party's reaction was equally swift, dodging the brain-targeting wolf fang arrow with just a quick duck. Its strength is already approaching Tier 1 evolution, and it easily spotted the bow-drawing action. Li Hu reminded, inserting his left hand into his pocket and single-handedly lifting a 1.5-meter heavy saber onto his shoulder, calmly directing the team on the car to quickly organize the formation. 12 team members split into 3 groups, each defending 4 directions, forming a triangular formation with the slaves placed in 3 directions. In this setup, each side has 2 bait and 4 warriors, while 3 free men in the center of the triangle provide support, rotating when teammates are injured. From this, we can see the vast difference between a regular deserter squad compared to Li Hu's team. Their combat competences were worlds apart. This greatly shocked Lin Feng and the others on his side. This also explained why they only lost 7 people during the full-strength desert wolf pack's attack, 3 of whom eventually succumbed to their injuries. Yet they managed to counter-kill 4 desolate wolves. It's important to know that the wolf pack launched a surprise attack while Li Hu's team had just experienced a battle with the rock-horned horse herd, and their stamina had already plummeted greatly. Even with the wolves holding a significant advantage, they gained no upper hand. No wonder Li Hu had the confidence to claim a bounty order and initiate revenge while their team was heavily injured. There is surely someone with a knack for commanding talent and strategy within this team. Lin Feng observed this and immediately ordered the 4 people in the car to hold shields and get off, surrounding himself and Chen Shanshan. Liu Mingfei stood in front, with Ding Yi and Liu Qian covering the left and right flanks respectively, while Zhang Zhao guarded the rear. Arranging the square formation, Lin Feng intentionally adjusted it to be close to Li Hu's group, reducing the risk of being surrounded by concentrated wolf pack attacks. Meanwhile, after avoiding Chen Shenshan's full draw shot, the wolf pack leader howled, and the desert wolves emerged from the top of the nearby slopes. In particular, the path they came from had 7 desolate wolves, clearly orchestrated by the head wolf to cut off their escape route. It's a trap. Seeing 8 huge desolate wolves slowly approaching, using rocks for cover, Liu Qian exclaimed in panic. Their formation directly faced the entrance. Only 6 of them, and half were worrisome in battle capability, yet they had to confront 7 desolate wolves. Even with Lin Feng's guarantee, the immediate threat was enough to make Liu Qian extremely nervous. In fact, most deserters had never encountered such a scene, and those who had did not survive to tell the tale, becoming food instead. Fortunately, though flustered, Liu Qian hadn't made any solo escape moves, just overly tense under the threat of death. Beside her, Ding Yi and Zhang Zhao were much calmer, one having survived a desolate wolf attack, the other indifferent to life and death. Lin Feng spoke with a solemn tone, steadying the morale. Do not fear, hold the formation. Let them come closer, we'll be able to kill more. Trust me, firing now will only scare them off. As more wolf pack members showed up, Lin Feng realized there were far more than the 15 Li Hu mentioned. Actually, there were up to 20. Evidently, the initial attack on Li Hu's squad only involved part of the wolf pack's members, but this time, knowing they were being hunted, the desolate wolves lured them into this 3-sided mountainous, one-way out terrain. Intending to use all their might to completely eliminate the enemies stained with their companions' blood, leaving no future troubles. Among these 20 desolate wolves, no fewer than 10 were late-stage desolate wolves with sizes exceeding 3 meters. The frantic hunting of deserter teams these days had dramatically powered up the wolf pack. They now had the confidence to launch a counterattack. Realizing this, Li Hu grinned sinisterly, standing at a protruding corner of the formation, facing the head wolf alone. That creature has reached its enhancement limit, wanting to swallow us level 9 enhanced people in one go to evolve. The 1.5-meter heavy saber, weighing 100 pounds, swung in Li Hu's nearly ton-strength hand, creating airwaves, but that's just what I want to. With that, 3 late-stage enhanced desolate wolves, led by the head wolf, charged at Li Hu at over 10 meters per second. 2 teammates at his sides each intercepted 1 wolf. Li Hu swung the heavy saber at the head wolf, which evaded with a single leap. Yet, Li Hu adeptly controlled the weighty saber, slicing sideways to continue the attack on the head wolf. The wolf pack leader opened its bloodthirsty maw, with 2 pairs of 10-centimeter-long sharp steel fangs clamping onto the blade, leveraging the swing force to pull it back. Under immense pulling force, the vicious friction sparked. As the squealing sound and flying sparks filled the air, the 3-centimeter-thick blade had 2 deformed grooves pressed into it. The heavy saber was already deformed with ruffled edges. Li Hu knew this was the head wolf's strategy, to first bite and crush human weapons with its fine steel wolf fangs, then launch a close attack. But he had been waiting for this moment. His left hand, previously in his pocket, already had knuckle dusters poised on his 4 front fingers. Taking the opportunity, he stopped hacking with his right hand holding the saber, instead drawing back forcefully, pulling the head wolf, fixed to the blade by its steel teeth, in front of him. His clenched left fist already raised its elbow, accelerating a fierce strike, slamming into the head wolf's skull. The knuckle duster's 3-centimeter protrusion, under power and speed enhancement, directly pierced the wolf's scalp, driving into its flesh and skull. The wolf's skull is the hardest part of a canine. However, the sound of cracking bones rang out. This almost took half the life of the leading wolf. Yet, it completely provoked its ferocity. Its fur bristled all over, and the next moment, it broke free from the blade, viciously biting towards Li Hu's abdomen, tearing his clothes to shreds in an instant and ripping a palm-sized piece of flesh from his side. In pain, Li Hu punched it away. At this moment, a series of gunshots echoed. Lin Feng waited until the last second when the entire wolf pack attacked, swiftly pulling the trigger on the desolate wolves lunging at the group. 7 desolate wolves appeared from behind, already close by. Among these 7, 5 were late-stage desolate wolves, including 1 at level 9. To block the human retreat, the wolf had specially stationed heavy guards at the entrance and exit. But this played right into Lin Feng's hands. He was waiting for the level 9 desolate wolf, not wanting the level 7 and level 8 ones as his first kill target. As automatic mode activated, following his mentally rehearsed kill order, Lin Feng aimed the gun at the level 9 desolate wolf closest to him. At this time, it had already collided with a shield, and the heavily struck Liu Qian leaned back, fortunately steadied by Lin Feng's support. But the next collision would definitely break the formation. However, there won't be a next time. With a handgun in automatic mode, fire erupted from the muzzle with a slight trigger pull. 3 bullets instantly hit a level 9 desolate wolf's head and neck. On its mane, already hardened like needles, blossomed palm-sized blood flowers. Bullets causing 30 points of damage directly shattered the desolate wolf's cervical bone and skull. Its whole body went limp, collapsing to the ground instantly. As brain death ensues, losing life, only the limbs twitched instinctively. After firing 3 bullets, Lin Feng didn't even glance at the deathly state of the level 9 desolate wolf, continuing to follow his Mendel rehearsal, turning the muzzle to shoot other desolate wolves. Now time meant results, killing meant points. He was racing against time, striving to kill more desolate wolves before the wolf pack retreated in defeat. With a slight trigger pull in automatic mode, he could fire 3 or 4 bullets. And at a distance of less than 20 meters, Lin Feng could hit with precision even with his eyes narrowed. Continuously pulling the trigger 5 times, he fired a dozen bullets, killing 7 desolate wolves attacking his squad. One was hit by an arrow shot by Chen Shanshan, finished off by Lin Feng with his gun. The advantage of firearm firing speed manifested at this moment. Compared to the bow and arrow, even in ordinary mode, it could fire 2 or 3 bullets a second, its firepower several times stronger than the cumbersome steps of drawing a bow and aiming. After resolving the crisis from behind, Lin Feng turned around and saw Li Hu still dealing with the encirclement of 13 desolate wolves. He was fiercely engaged with the lead wolf. The remaining teammates were struggling against more than 10 desolate wolves. Both sides had injuries, but the deserted village squad had a greater disadvantage, with 6 slaves used as bait having already died on the spot. They exchanged it for a few offensive opportunities for the team members. But they only seriously injured 2 desolate wolves. Subsequent wolf pack counterattacks left 3 teammates injured, losing combat power with bites on their arms and legs. Lin Feng didn't make a move, he was waiting. Waiting for Li Hu's squad to lose the strength to continue fighting. Next to him, Chen Shanshan couldn't bear to watch, using a steel rod to help one team member out of trouble, killing 1 wolf in the process, a contribution to the team's battle performance. Seeing this, Lin Feng did not speak to stop it, simply stood in front of Zhang Zhao, watching intently. With time passing, of the 13 desolate wolves besieging Li Hu's squad, only 8 remained. And Li Hu's squad reduced from 12 to 6 members, 3 dead and 3 injured. Plus the slaves, both sides had more than half casualties. Just as Lin Feng was about to raise his gun to finish the job, 2 gunshots suddenly echoed from the entrance where they came. Lin Feng felt something hit his back. Warm blood splattered on his cheek. He slowly turned his head to look. Zhang Zhao, who was protecting his rear, held a shield, his unprotected shoulder struck by a bullet. And behind them, Qi Mountain appeared with a group of deserters 30 meters away. They were hurriedly reloading 2 shotguns. The other shot, aimed at Chen Shanshan, was blocked by Ding Yi beside her. Chapter 35, Vigilance, Ambush, Slap, and Revenge. The range of the shotgun's pellets is at most 30 or 40 meters, beyond that, the trajectory drifts. The pellets grazed Ding Yi's shield, and having been prepared, she merely had her arm scratched, a narrow escape. In fact, she was the first to sense something was wrong. Even before the mission set out, Ding Yi was constantly worried about Qi Mountain and his group's attack. However, while tracking the wolf pack, Chen Shanshan comforted her, saying that the important thing now was to deal with the desert wolf pack, and at most, Qi Mountain's group might intercept them on the way. Worrying about things that haven't happened yet would only distract her and ruin the upcoming wolf hunt. But even so, Ding Yi's inner anxiety did not diminish in the slightest. She was the one who knew Qi Mountain best in the team. Chen Shanshan's view on human nature was somewhat naive, and Lin Feng only carried the hatred from their first encounter after awakening. The only one who truly understood Qi Mountain was herself. Not to mention his insidious and cunning nature, his biggest trait was never doing things without certainty. In the past, he openly betrayed the team, taking away most members, using wave after wave of tactics to exploit Chen Shanshan's weak disposition, using threats and bribes to split all the resources with everyone. If he wasn't confident about the current ambush, he might back off, but if he were, he'd relentlessly pursue and then strike at the opportune moment. Especially when all team members were off guard. Qi Mountain would approach like a cold venomous snake, silently closing in through disguise, ready to strike accurately. As the battle was coming to an end, Lin Feng intended to spectate, Chen Shanshan chose to lend a hand, and the Liu family siblings were already collecting wolf corpses. Only Ding Yi didn't let her guard down. The only other person sharing her thoughts was Zhang Zhao, the team's sole outsider. He understood Qi Mountain's methods even better than Ding Yi. As the wolf hunt was nearing its end, Zhang Zhao knew it was time for him to act. So from beginning to end, he was always holding the iron shield, standing beside Lin Feng, while protecting him and observing the entrance and exit behind them, as well as the surrounding slopes. As for Qi Mountain and the others launching the sneak attack, they had just arrived not long ago. Riding bicycles and leaving the main force, they entered the left side of the wilderness along the avenue, waiting to rendezvous with Zhang Disu and his deserted village squad before setting off together. So they spent more time on the road. Fortunately, the group of 10 quickly found tire tracks on the ground and inquired with nearby deserters to learn the direction of the strangely designed armored tricycle. The oddly shaped iron lump was so conspicuous on the wilderness that passers-by who saw it all had a deep impression. Following the tire tracks on the ground and the directions from passers-by, the group quickly caught up to the deserted camp attacked by the wolf pack. They saw dozens of plump scavenger vultures feasting on human remains. Li Qingwu immediately started retching. They had seen many corpses and mummies before, but such fresh, fragmented corpses, scattered in such a state, was a first. Holding back nausea, Qi Mountain stepped forward to scare away the scavenger vultures and found tire tracks stained with blood. This must be the work of the desert wolf pack not long ago. They followed closely, seeming to intend to wipe out the others in this day and night. "Let's go," we pursue. And so the 10 set off again, relying on the food and water Li Qingwu brought for the long journey. For this interception, to seize the wolf corpses needed to exchange for the evolution agent, he spared no expense. If they failed, no, they must succeed. Quickly, the group tightly followed and reached the other side of a hillside, where they saw a group of vehicles maintaining a steady pace on the vast plain not far beyond the hill. Qi Mountain halted their steps, carefully, "Don't get discovered. We must wait for them to go far, engage in conflict with the desert wolf pack, before taking action." Beside him, Li Qingwu frowned slightly. "How much longer? We've been rushing continuously. The food and water we brought won't last us 2 days." Qi Mountain squinted his eyes and peeked out, spotting the distant convoy entering a valley surrounded by 3 mountain rings. On the mountain slopes, there were a few moving black dots. His mouth curved into a cold smile as he murmured, "Truly, it's heaven aiding us. Li, your evolution agent is already calling out to you." Shortly after Chen Shanshan and the others entered the valley, a series of gunshots echoed. Qi Mountain immediately led his people, sprinting toward a gap in the valley a kilometer away. At the entrance of the valley, they abandoned their bicycles. Qi Mountain took an old single-shot shotgun and 5 thumb-thick slugs from Li Qingwu. To ensure power, each was loaded with a single 15mm lead ball, with an effective range of 30 to 40 meters, becoming more powerful up close. The leading 3, including Qi Mountain, were all late-stage enhanced people. They carefully hugged the stone walls on both sides, stealthily making their way into the valley. Soon, through a corner gap, they saw the others fighting with the desert wolf pack in the distance. At this time, Chen Shanshan wielded a titanium gun, battling a desert wolf 3 meters tall. While the man named Lin Feng held a gun, watching from the side. Apparently, the gunshots just now were fired by him. Now standing still, it was likely that he had exhausted his precious bullets, leaving Chen Shanshan and the others to wrap things up. As for the muscular bald guy Li Qingwu mentioned, he was entangled with a group of giant wolves, while his team members were either dead or injured. Already trapped in a deadly fight and desperate. Li Qingwu's eyes glowed upon seeing the ground filled with wolf corpses. He raised his shotgun, ready to surprise them with an unexpected sneak attack. But Qi Mountain stopped him, whispering a reminder, "That short woman fighting with the long spear, she's an early superpower awakener with a certain perception ability. In battle, her perception weakens due to concentration, but you mustn't get within 30 meters of her. We must kill her first, or else we risk exposure too early." Having been with Chen Shanshan for a long time, Qi Mountain, as deputy leader, was well aware of this leader's abilities. At the moment, he just wanted to quickly eliminate the trouble of Chen Shanshan's group. "She's farther from the crowd, Li, your shooting is better than mine. You aim at her, I'll take care of the guy with the gun. Take out those 2, then let the remaining men charge in. We'll reload and provide long-range support from the rear." Li Qingwu squinted his eyes slightly and nodded, "All right, let's do it your way." Under Qi Mountain's lead, with 2 people behind him and 7 knife-wielding underlings, they cautiously advanced forward. When they were 30 meters away from Lin Feng and the others, Qi Mountain signaled with a wave, and Li Qingwu immediately raised his gun to aim. They hid behind the rocky wall, exposing only part of their bodies. One aimed at the distant Chen Shanshan, while the other aimed at Lin Feng, who was watching the scene unfold. However, at the moment they exposed part of their bodies, Zhang Zhao, who had been watching and observing in the rear, noticed something was amiss. He quickly raised his shield, but unfortunately, due to exhaustion, he couldn't quite manage to position the 100-plus-pound iron shield in front of him in time, leaving half of his body exposed. Eventually, his right shoulder was hit by a bullet. On the other side, because Li Qingwu had to aim at the constantly moving Chen Shanshan, he was half a beat slow in firing. But Ding Yi, who had discovered them, had already raised a shield in time to protect the captain. Bang! Bang! After 2 shots, in the next moment, Lin Feng turned around, and his gun was already aimed at Qi Mountain and Li Qingwu. They hadn't had time to hide and were each precisely hit in the exposed half of their shoulders by 2 bullets. In their agony, their shotguns, which hadn't been reloaded yet, fell to the ground. Lin Feng took the shield from Zhang Zhao's hand and directly charged into the entrance. Realizing the situation had changed, Li Qingwu was the first to react. Enduring the excruciating pain, he kicked Qi Mountain aside and then dragged Zhang Disu behind him as well. As a person who had long achieved level 9 enhancement, Li Qingwu's greatest skill for survival was escaping. He wasn't one of the first generation of deserters but was born into the Li family, one of the 3 major clans on the Oasis, though he was from a branch family. He grew up in their Nongxuang village. Due to poor academic performance and laziness in work, he was sent to the 5th village after turning 30, using his Li family background to serve as Lord Wang's steward. If not for this connection, he would have been taken on missions by Lord Wang and died 800 times over. Of course, living a life of luxury, his life force was incredibly resilient. A bullet hit to the arm wasn't enough to claim his life. After bypassing the minor underlings, Li Qingwu reached the road, mounted a bicycle with one hand, and rode away. By now, the people behind him had already fallen under Lin Feng's gunfire and Chen Shanshan's spear. Seeing Zhang Zhao lying motionless on the ground and Ding Yi narrowly avoiding a bullet, Chen Shanshan was plunged into deep self-blame. It's my fault, all my fault. I was the one who should have been alert. I should have noticed them in advance. Lin Feng approached, holding a gun. An utterly terrified Qi Mountain lay on the ground, his face contorted in painful anguish. Lin Feng didn't kill him directly. Both of Qi Mountain's knee joints had been shattered, his lower legs dangled broken on the ground, connected by a mere stretch of sinew, and it only took one more bullet to turn him into a human swine. But Lin Feng was no longer interested in wasting time here. Looking ahead, Lin Feng saw the residual wolf pack, initially entangled with Li Hu's group, quickly break free and flee for their lives under the pack leader's house amidst the sudden commotion. Looking back, there was still a gun-wielding ambusher on a bicycle, already a few hundred meters away. Chasing either one required a choice. Calmly, Lin Feng walked up to Chen Shanshan, who was still immersed in her self-reproach. He slowly raised his hand and gave her a slap. Smack. The crisp sound seemed louder than a gunshot. The instant redness on her cheek, the burning pain left Chen Shanshan's mind blank. Then she heard Lin Feng's voice, coming out steady but undeniable. There's still an ambusher alive, a level 9 enhanced person. You go after him. That guy has a gun, he must be from a desert hunting team of the Evolvers. We absolutely can't let him get away. You, kill him for me. With that, Lin Feng ran straight into the valley. The confusion in Chen Shanshan's eyes gradually turned into firm anger as she picked up the armor-piercing horn bow and pursued Li Qingwu. In her eyes, a hint of unprecedented ferocity emerged. Lin Feng chose to move forward, pausing by the fallen Zhang Zhao. Qi Mountain still has a few minutes left, he's yours. Hearing these words, Zhang Zhao, who had intended to die, gritted his teeth and stood up slowly, cradling his bullet-ridden arm, limping towards the entrance. Seeing the barely breathing but still alive Qi Mountain, meeting again, Zhang Zhao ground his teeth, showing a sinister yet relieved smile. Kneeling beside Qi Mountain, aiming at his neck, he slowly opened his mouth. Crunch. Lin Feng passed by the armored trike, glanced at Liu Qian, then gradually accelerated his pace. Transitioning from a brisk walk to a slow run, from a jog to a full sprint. He turned on the vents of his combat suit, adjusting his breathing. Chasing after Li Hu, who was already climbing the mountain. The fleeing pack leader was a level 9 desolate wolf. It was also the last one left alive, yet to be hunted down. Chapter 36, Pursuit, Slaying the Alpha Wolf, Lin Feng level 8 Yellow Earth Gobi, the scorching sun burns mercilessly. This is Lin Feng's first long-distance run in the Wasteland. Following behind the bald-headed man in front. And the fleeing wolf pack is still farther away. Lin Feng looked ahead, several leaping figures were estimated to be over 400 meters away from him. The wolf pack's escape speed was not slow. After a battle, the 8 remaining desert wolves could still gallop at a speed of 4 or 5 meters per second through the rugged Gobi, their endurance truly extraordinary. To catch up with them, Lin Feng took a sip of water and increased his speed to 5 or 6 meters per second, gradually closing in. Climbing over the hills, running under the blazing sun for 600 or 700 meters, his face turned black-red, and he was drenched in sweat. At this moment, his physical functions were pushed to the limit, his blood circulation doubled in speed, delivering the oxygen he was gasping for into his leg muscles, driving his body forward while releasing heat. Fortunately, the cooling effect of the exhaust-wind combat suit used airflow and sweat evaporation to absorb heat, quickly lowering the temperature of his visceral organs. Otherwise, in the nearly 50-degree Gobi Desert, the human body couldn't withstand such intense exercise. High-temperature heat stroke would quickly degrade stamina. Currently, Lin Feng, at ease, is continuously closing the gap with Li Hu. The bald muscle man in front is already gasping for breath, drinking heavily from his water bag, hoping to use hydration to lower his body temperature. Seeing Lin Feng catching up from behind, Li Hu warily stepped aside, saying in a deep voice while keeping his distance, "Younger brother Lin, you've already taken down 2 level 9s, let me have this one, okay?" Lin Feng smiled, holding his revolver in hand. "Isn't it agreed that it's based on our abilities? Besides, jumping to conclusions now underestimates the desert wolves too much, doesn't it? They haven't reached the point of exhaustion and capture. See, here they come now." As Lin Feng spoke leisurely, 300 meters away, the desert wolf pack, following the commanding howl of the leading wolf in front, 4 of the 7 desert wolves stopped immediately. While gasping for air, they turned around to face Lin Feng and Li Hu, who were chasing them. In the minute it took humans to arrive, they adjusted their state and launched an attack to try to block the two from advancing further. Without hesitation, Lin Feng slowed down from 100 meters away, then fired 4 shots, severely injuring the 2 late-stage desert wolves intercepting him. Then abruptly increasing his speed, he bypassed from another side, continuing to pursue the lead wolf. The remaining 2 desert wolves, seeing the situation, aimed at the more vulnerable Li Hu nearby. The two quickly engaged in close combat. Having pursued the wolves for over a kilometer, Lin Feng took out a half bottle of water he had left, drank a few sips, leaving half for future use. And he kept his eyes fixed on the remaining 4 desert wolves 300 meters away in the distance. The wolf pack, hearing the gunfire, began to utilize the terrain advantage of rocks for cover, evading shots. Many times when Lin Feng tried to close the gap to aim, his efforts ended in failure. But as time passed, and the distance covered on the endless wilderness stretched from 1 to 2, 4 kilometers, even 7 or 8 kilometers. The 3 desert wolves behind the wolf pack leader gradually slowed due to exhaustion and overheating. Caught up and killed by Lin Feng one by one. Eventually, only 1 wolf and 1 person remained, running back and forth on the primitive Gobi wilderness. Lin Feng, maintaining a steady pace thanks to the cooling effect of the exhaust wind combat suit, still had half his stamina left. By now, they had moved nearly 10 kilometers away from the valley where the fight broke out, and they were 15 or 16 kilometers away from the main road to Oasis Town. This was already beyond the operational limit of all deserter teams. It was truly a seldom-trodden barbaric land. Looking at the little half bottle of water he had left, Lin Feng realized he had to end the battle quickly. For the past half hour, the lead wolf had been circling nearby, apparently trying to wear him out to death. So Lin Feng slowed his pace, feigning exhaustion to lure the wolf pack leader into a trap. Sure enough, seeing Lin Feng slowing down, the only remaining lead wolf, actually showing signs of fatigue, reduced its pace to save energy and lower its body temperature. This was exactly what Lin Feng wanted. Unintentionally, he kept closing the distance, as the target's moving speed slowed as well, no longer purposely using nearby rocks for cover. The conditions necessary to improve his shooting accuracy were all met. Lin Feng did not hesitate, swallowing his saliva, took accurate aim at the opportune moment, and fired decisively, unleashing over 10 shots. If the hit rate wasn't enough, make up for it with quantity. The over 10 bullet heads hit the lead wolf's hind thigh before the sound of gunfire spread. From afar, Lin Feng reckoned he hit with 3 shots. Given his current exhausted state, with 3 life value points consumed, achieving a 30% hit rate at 2 to 300 meters wasn't bad. The injured wolf pack leader let out a wailing cry. Knowing its end was near, it stopped struggling, limping toward a small hill on the left. Lin Feng followed silently from behind, without firing more shots. This lead wolf had been circling this area for half an hour, there must be another reason. After limping to the hill, Lin Feng followed a trail of blood, arriving behind a slope to a natural shallow pit cave outside. The barely alive desert lead wolf fell headfirst inside. Lin Feng scanned the surroundings, resting to recover his state while ensuring there was no danger nearby. After adjusting his breathing, he cautiously approached, gripping the revolver tightly. Peering by the shallow pit. To his surprise, before the fallen lead wolf lay a pure white desert wolf, licking its hind leg wound next to the lead wolf's body, emitting mournful whimpering sounds. Seeing someone entering the cave, the white wolf jumped up immediately, bared fangs, with its neck and back bristles standing tall. Lin Feng slowly raised his gun, aiming at its forehead. Bam! After relieving them of their pain and ensuring no danger, Lin Feng entered the pit cave, drawing his dagger from his waist, beginning to cut apart the 2 wolf carcasses. Mainly collecting their blood, clearing their perishable intestines, and consuming their hearts to replenish energy. Creature, desert wolf, level 9 out of 9, deceased, attributes, life value, 0. Physique, 49 out of 50. Spirit, 10 out of 50. Attribute limits, each level 9 attribute maximum, 50. Evaluation, the desert wolf pack are masters of survival and have successfully reproduced. They are loyal to slaughter and to their pack, holding grudges, so beware of their reprisal. The heart and hind leg meat of desert wolves are rich in nutrients, and their steel teeth and iron claws are excellent biological materials. After consuming the lead wolf's heart, Lin Feng felt a surge of warmth flowing throughout his body, sweeping away fatigue, bringing strength. Soon he completed the upgrade enhancement. Character, Lin Feng, level 8 out of 9. Attributes, life value, 44 out of 45. Physique, 44 out of 45. Spirit, 43 out of 45. Attribute limits, each level 8 attribute maximum, 45. Item upgrade upper limit raised to level 8. 1 life value point can be consumed to upgrade a level 7 automatic pistol, after consuming a whole heart. Not only did he restore the 4 life value points exhausted due to the long trek, but he also completed the enhancement, fully restoring Lin Feng's state. The lead wolf's body was quickly dealt with. Next was the white wolf. This was a level 8 white wolf, and a female one at that. Suddenly, Lin Feng noticed the bulging abdomen of the female wolf. Realizing something, he began searching deeper inside the pit cave. Chapter 37, Wolf Pup, a man's final words. Lin Feng immediately commenced a thorough search within the wolf den in front of him. Indeed, before long, in a corner covered by a heap of dried grass, he found 5 desert wolf pups. They were curled up together, seemingly just born, with their eyes still closed. Each was gray-white, about the size of a football. Fluffy and very cute. Unfortunately, when Lin Feng checked them up close, 4 of them already had no breath or warmth, with only one remaining with a faint trace of life. Creature, desert wolf pup, level 1 out of 9, weak. Attributes, life value, 7 out of 10, physique, 7 out of 10, spirit, 2 out of 10, attribute limits, each level 1 attribute maximum, 10, evaluation, desert wolf pup inherits the fierceness and loyalty of the wolf pack. Cultivating it into a loyal companion is a promising choice, much like humans once domesticated wolves into dogs. Its future potential is bright. Having read the evaluation, Lin Feng instantly became interested and poured the remaining precious fresh water from the bottle into his palm to feed it. The pup, sensing the water's presence, instinctively stuck out its tongue to lick. After a few feedings, the pup's state slightly improved. Upon completing the rescue, Lin Feng used dry branches from the den to build a simple 4-cornered framework, then piled the 2 treated desert wolf corpses onto it. This way, dragging them was more convenient than carrying them away. As for the recovered pup, Lin Feng tucked it into the pocket of his exhaust-wind combat suit to ensure a comfortable environment. Before leaving, he buried the 4 dead pups inside the den. Dehydrated and skeletal, their level 1 flesh wasn't of much use anyway, at least granting these small lives final peace. After finishing the task, Lin Feng dragged the 2 wolf corpses, struggling across the desolate Gobi Desert. Not knowing how long had passed, Lin Feng, barely sustained by collected wolf blood, finally saw a uniquely shaped tricycle on the distant hillside. He raised his hand, waving the silver-black revolver to signal the armored tricycle to approach. Once the tricycle got closer, he realized that it was only Ding Yi and Liu Qian on it. The 2 took turns riding the tricycle and came searching all the way. Lin Feng and Ding Yi worked together to lift the 2 wolf corpses, weighing over 100 kilograms, into the vehicle. Sitting in the compartment, Lin Feng immediately drank generously from the water barrel, alleviating his dehydration. Ding Yi had now taken over driving back, while Liu Qian sat opposite Lin Feng, speaking in a reporting tone. My brother has controlled the remaining group of people. On the way, we even encountered the exhausted Captain Li Hu. Lin Feng unzipped his combat suit and retrieved the pup. He didn't try to take your vehicle? A hint of surprise flashed in Liu Qian's eyes as she stared intently at the small pup in Lin Feng's arms, with a joyful expression on her face. No, he's almost done for, waiting for us to bring you back and wanting to discuss something. Brother Feng, is this a desert wolf pup? Lin Feng nodded and began to feed the pup water. Water is the most scarce resource in the wastelands. Without enough water source there can be no milk. Relying solely on hunting humans for blood is a mere drop in the ocean for the desert wolf pack. A delay in half a day could lead the only remaining pup to also die of hunger and weakness. Brother Feng, do you plan on raising it? Liu Qian inquired, which attracted Ding Yi, who was driving up front, to turn her head and glance over. Lin Feng agreed, observing Liu Qian's longing face as he handed the pup over. Let's try. If it can be properly raised, we can safely take it with us in the future. Cultivate it into a wolf dog or a hunting dog, used for tracking prey or standing guard, it will be very useful. The desert wolf possesses inherent absolute loyalty to its tribe. Once properly cultivated, The benefits offered will far exceed recruiting some underlings. Liu Qian cradled the pup in her arms, gently stroking its soft, delicate fur, relaxing her body and mind. But soon the pup felt the heat and began to whimper, attempting to break free. Seeing this, Lin Feng spoke, "It might be very afraid of the heat, better put him in my combat suit, where it can ventilate and disperse heat." Liu Qian nodded, and reluctantly handed the pup back to Lin Feng. Slipping it into his clothing, the exhaust fan buzzed, and the pup quickly fell asleep. Not long after, the armored tricycle halted midway. Lin Feng turned his head slightly, and from the observation window, he saw Li Hu lying half dead under the shade of a rock. Climbing out of the vehicle, he approached him. At this moment, Li Hu's face was sallow, and his lips were pale. With his hand covering the right side of his waist, his expression was scattered. Lin Feng knew he had previously sustained injuries there during the tussle with the wolf pack leader, which had bitten off a piece of flesh. Before hunting, he seemed to have applied hemostatic medicine and did a temporary bandage for a level 9 enhanced person. This kind of injury shouldn't cause too much trouble. The only plausible explanation is that it was aggravated by the recent battle with the two late-stage desert wolves, with severe exhaustion leading to a drastic reduction in life value, leaving him beyond saving. Li Hu's following words confirmed this. "Damn it, just bad luck. No, still not strong enough. I've lost too much blood, I'm not going to last much longer." "You won." Lin Feng nodded. "So the matter of the task handover?" Li Hu coughed, feebly. "For the task handover, Al Yan, as a hunter in the team, can go. Don't make it hard on them. When you evolve, there'll still be times you need them. Many evolvers wanted to recruit us before, but I never agreed. In their eyes, the desert hunting team is just a bunch of expendable scouts. It's my impatience that wronged them." Lin Feng knew Li Hu was giving his last words, nodding in agreement. "All right." Then, Li Hu took out a card from his pocket. "This is our team's points card. It contains 624 points accumulated together, hoping to form a desert hunting team in the future. The people who just attacked you, led by the steward of a desert hunting team, whether he's dead or alive, will have provoked high-ranking evolvers. The master he serves is very powerful among evolvers. Even if you become an evolver, you're new to that circle, powerless and hard to deal with. The points in this card can help you recruit, purchase equipment, and grow quickly. Fulfill 2 matters for me. The password I'll tell you." Lin Feng pondered for a few seconds. "Speak." Li Hu smiled somewhat regretfully. "They followed me, never had good days. Treat them better afterwards." Lin Feng slightly frowned, speaking softly. "I'll divide the points evenly per person. Those who choose to stay will be treated the same. Those who don't want to follow me can leave with the points." Li Hu nodded, slowly raising his hand to hand over the points card. "The password is 950,506. Secondly." At this point, Li Hu suddenly mentioned something else. "By the way, are you a firearm-type superpower user? Super bullet or precision lock?" "Probably the former. I haven't seen you change cartridges." "No wonder you agreed so decisively at first. I heard people with such rare abilities are generally scouted by big cities long ago, rarely left an impoverished oasis town." Chen Shan didn't misjudge. "Her nature isn't bad, just uneducated. Give her some patience and time. You don't belong here, sooner or later you'll leave. Still, to witness such superpower before dying is indeed fortunate." While speaking, Li Hu murmured, "So the second thing. Come on, end it for me." Lin Feng gently nodded. Taking the points card with his left hand, he raised his right hand with the gun. Bang. Chapter 38, Tallying Up. Stirring up big trouble. The sound of gunfire echoed, a thin wisp of smoke drifted from the gun barrel, taking away the pain of the dying Li Hu. At this moment, Liu Qian, who was collecting the nearby desert wolf corpses with Ting Yi, walked up behind Lin Feng. "Should we take him away? We've found the remaining 7 wolf corpses. The load on the tricycle is nearly a ton now. The late-stage desert wolves weighed 100 kilograms, and the wolf pack leader, less than 4 meters long, weighed over 300 kilograms." Lin Feng raised the points card in his left hand. "Take it, this is the explanation for them. I'll write afterward, you two take a rest." After loading Li Hu's body onto the cart, Lin Feng got into the driver's seat and found it unsettlingly hot inside, as the iron-plated enclosure allowed little airflow. Fortunately, he had the exhaust wind combat suit, and when he opened the observation skylight above, the scorching sunlight hitting the photovoltaic panel on his back allowed the exhaust fan to spin rapidly. Placing the little wolf cub in the rear compartment, Lin Feng pedaled harder, exerting all his strength to ride. The speed quickly increased from 10 km per hour to 15 or 16 km per hour, as if running across the vast wilderness like before. In less than half an hour, the group saw a small hill in the distance, connecting together to form a concave-shaped circular mountain range. The valley behind was also where they fought a decisive battle with the wolf pack. Riding the tricycle around a large circle, they returned to their starting point through the front entrance. Lin Feng got off and took a look. Besides the scattered corpses, the surviving members of Li Hu's team were sitting on the ground resting, with only Liu Mingfei standing guard with a knife beside the pile of desert wolf corpses. Out of the 12 members of Li Hu's team, only 4 were left. 3 died on the battlefield, 3 were critically injured, and those severely injured later also perished. There was another unfortunate injury during Qi Mountain's surprise attack. In the end, there were 4 survivors, including level 9 enhanced personnel Yan, and 3 other late-stage enhanced members. Lin Feng sensed something was wrong and asked Liu Mingfei and the 2 women beside him, Chen Shanshan hasn't returned? Ding Yi was startled, she hadn't returned before we left, and now? Lin Feng turned to Liu Mingfei, who shook his head, no, I was thinking about this too. Logically, it's been almost 2 hours, even if she was taking a walk, she should have been back. Could it be that the captain is waiting for us on the way? Lin Feng frowned slightly, looking toward the entrance. Let's load the wolf corpses onto the cart first. Apart from the 7 desert wolves killed by Lin Feng, 5 more died during the attack on Li Hu's team. Among them was a level 9 desert wolf, which Chen Shanshan helped to kill. So all that's left for them, aside from a field of corpses, were only 4 wolf carcasses, including 1 late-stage desert wolf, with the rest being mid-stage. At this point, the surviving leader of Li Hu's team, Yan, came over and asked, is he dead? Lin Feng nodded and turned to the tricycle bed, lifting Li Hu's body and placing it in front of Yan. The wound in his abdomen was torn open again during a struggle with 2 late-stage desert wolves, ultimately leading to mutual destruction. By the time I finished off the wolf pack leader and returned, it was too late. The gunshot wound to his head was from me, he asked for a quick end. Saying this, the others came up, looking at Lin Feng with suspicion and hostility. Yan squatted down, examining the dried blood on Li Hu's wounds and his changed facial expression. Then, getting up to stop the remaining 3 team members, he's not lying. Before the captain died, he had already lost too much blood, and the gunshot was a release. If someone wanted to harm the captain, they could just leave him be, there's no need to waste a bullet on purpose. Lin Feng nodded, slowly releasing his hand from the gunstock at his waist, looking at the woman in front of him. How it was in the past is now like this, one side deciding the fate of the other. Also, here's your team's points card. He gave me the password before he passed away. He asked me to promise him 2 things. One was to spare you. If you're to be accepted, then treat you better in the future. I told him the decision to stay or leave would be voluntary. Those willing to follow me would be treated equally moving forward, those not willing would share the card's points evenly. Including these 4 wolf corpses you killed yourself, they belong to you 4. Decisions about staying or leaving can be made later, but now we need to take these wolf corpses back to the Hunting Wilderness Guild to complete the task first. After saying this, Lin Feng turned to leave, but then turned back as if remembering something and said, oh, the second thing he asked for was a quick end. Staring at his departing figure, the last 4 members of Li Hu's team looked at each other, waiting for the deputy leader to decide. Yan looked at the revolver at the man's waist, sighed softly, then directed the remaining 3 to load the wolf carcasses and their teammates' body onto the tricycle and cart. Before Li Hu died, he pointed out the direction. They had no other choice. On the other side, Lin Feng's team acquired 15 wolf carcasses, plus the bodies of the white wolf and the lead wolf, totaling 17, directly reaching 2 tons in weight. It was the tricycle's load limit. The wolf corpses alone filled the entire tricycle cabin, leaving the other 4 to follow outside. 1 person rode the tricycle, the remaining 3 took turns replacing each other. As for the remaining equipment of Qi Mountain and others, including 2 shotguns, 15 lead ball bullets, and several long knives. Although the broken knives weren't worth much, they could still be sold as scrap for a few kilograms of dehydrated jerky. Finally, there were 2 bicycles. They scavenged everything and took it all with them. After setting off, Yan and the others followed behind. Their cart carried fewer desert wolf corpses and more teammate bodies, so it was not heavy. The location they were currently at was not far from the road leading to Oasis Town, only about 5 or 6 kilometers away. Lin Feng rode his bicycle, glancing around. Ding Yi and Liu Qian were riding one bike, also looking around, concerned for Captain Chen Shanshan's safety. According to logic, the steward of the hunting team, in a panicked retreat, had even discarded the valuable shotgun, so it shouldn't be much of a threat. Chen Shanshan had a long-range level 7 armor-piercing horn bow and an extremely hard and sharp titanium gun, so it wasn't likely for him to counterattack successfully. At most, he couldn't catch up to the speeding bicycle. Unless there was one other situation. The person the steward was loyal to and served, the powerful evolver mentioned by Li Hu, stepped in to save him. Lin Feng recalled seeing the Evolver's modified vehicle speeding away on the right side of Oasis Avenue when they set out. The chances of encountering an Evolver should be very low. They usually didn't operate near Oasis Town because the resources here were scarce, making any missions uneconomical and not worth the effort. So Evolvers typically drove modified vehicles deep into the sparse wilderness to search for prehistoric ruins or hunt large beast packs. But if it wasn't an Evolver, Lin Feng didn't know who could hold back Chen Shanshan. Even though this guy was kind-hearted and simple-minded, her combat abilities were impeccable, and she had a high level of alertness. Even if she let the steward escape in the end, she would at least not put herself in a desperate situation. Quickly, as the group moved along, the watchful Lin Feng spotted a low silhouette on the roadside. Lin Feng immediately broke off from the group and quickly rode toward it. Stopping in front, he found Chen Shanshan lying in the shadow of a rock, her sleeves soaked with dark blood. Coming to her side, at that moment Chen Shanshan was lying in the shadow of the rock, with the sleeve of her arm soaked in dark blood. She gritted her teeth in pain, knowing she had gotten herself into a tough situation. Lin Feng directly asked calmly, "Did you kill him?" Chapter 39, Mission Handover. Escaping a calamity. Chen Shanshan was stunned, obviously not expecting that under such a crisis, the first thing Lin Feng would care about was this trivial matter. So she nodded with pain. Killed him. The last arrow hit its mark, the wolf fang arrow pierced through his heart, along with a shot to the shoulder. He bled all the way. There's absolutely no chance of survival. Lin Feng nodded. Killed. As long as he's dead. Chen Shanshan coughed, but because of this, we've thoroughly offended Nongzhuang village. They might already be searching in the 5th village. Taking me back will only bring harm to you all. Cough, cough, cough. Chen Shanshan muttered to herself, never thought that the first time I killed someone, it would bring such a big crisis. In the future, I'll leave it to you. Lin Feng inspected the wound, and behind him, Liu Ming fired his bike over. Ding Yi and Liu Qian came forward to check on Chen Shanshan's condition, took out the prepared hemostatic medicine and disinfectant bandages for this mission, and performed a simple bandaging. Seeing that Lin Feng was ignoring her words, Chen Shanshan informed the rest of the team of the trouble she'd caused, hoping they would leave as soon as possible and stay away from her. Ding Yi frowned slightly, stood behind the captain, slowly supporting her up, and looked at Lin Feng, expressing his stance. Beside them, Liu Qian squinted slightly and began to analyze. We've already completed the task. The 3 level 9 desolate wolves are enough to get the extra reward, an evolution agent. As long as the captain takes the evolution agent, becoming an evolver, his status will undergo a tremendous change, enough to deal with this crisis. As soon as she finished, everyone's eyes turned to Lin Feng, who was standing at the back. After the wolf hunting operation, Lin Feng, with his overwhelming strength, had already become the true backbone of the team. During Qi Mountain's attack, it was Lin Feng who first reacted, decisively countered, and deployed personnel to pursue both the desolate wolf and the escaping attacker. Now, everyone within considers Lin Feng a true leader. Of the required 3 level 9 desolate wolves in this wolf hunting operation, Lin Feng killed 2 of them, including the most powerful wolf pack leader. So the evolution agent in the task reward was already considered Lin Feng's by default. Only by Lin Feng becoming stronger can he lead everyone to form an even stronger desert hunting team. At this moment, Lin Feng, who was being watched by everyone, dug out the heart of a level 9 desolate wolf from the pile of wolf corpses in the tricycle compartment and handed it to Chen Shanshan. Eat it. Replenish your nutrition to recover quickly. Then he said to the other 3, Chen Shanshan is the captain and once saved my life. This evolution agent should be hers no matter what. The guy she was chasing was just a logistics manager of a desert hunting team. Even if he's from one of the 4 major villages, he's just an outcast. No need to worry. With some comfort, Lin Feng continued, let's go. The most important thing now is to settle the task and get the evolution agent before considering other things. Everyone nodded, and Ding Yi and Liu Qian worked together to lift the captain, but unfortunately, there was no place to squeeze into the tricycle. In the end, Lin Feng had no choice but to carry her princess style, while Ding Yi and Liu Qian each rode a bicycle towards Oasis Town. On the way, Chen Shanshan curled up in Lin Feng's arms, pulling the hood over her head tightly, trying to cover her face as much as possible. Lin Feng only felt the girl's breathing become heavier in his arms, and her body temperature was gradually rising. This was a good thing, indicating that after eating the wolf heart, her injuries were rapidly healing. The fortunate thing was, after hunting the desolate wolf pack, everyone had advanced 6 to 7 kilometers. Now they just need to head directly north from the valley of the decisive battle, straight into the highway, and then they could see Oasis Town not far ahead. By slightly quickening their pace, they could catch up. The group returned to the passing last of the 5th village. Put the extra survival equipment on the vehicle, such as water buckets and jerky, as well as the long blade shotgun, bicycle, and other spoils of war, back in the bus hotel. Then arrange for Ding Yi and Liu Mingfei to guard the compartment and take care of the wolf cub. Lin Feng and Liu Qian took the injured Chen Shanshan to the guild. They hadn't registered the deserted village squad, so only Chen Shanshan, who had the identity of a hunter, could come for the handover. Li Hu's squad, now led by Aoyan, also brought 3 team members and a desolate wolf corpse over. A half hour later, they met outside the Hunting Wilderness Guild, where they went inside to deliver the task. Aoyan successfully obtained Li Hu's hunter license and signed the contract as a member of the deserted village squad. The counter staff immediately took out the bounty order and handed over the token left by the issuer, an emblem of the Holy Spring sect, to everyone. Take this to the foremost Holy Spring village, where someone will lead you inside to handle the reward based on the task's completion degree. Lin Feng looked at the silver golden wellhead-sized emblem in Chen Shanshan's hands, somewhat confused. Shouldn't we do the exchange at the guild? What if there's a dispute? The staff froze for a moment, then blandly replied, "This is the Holy Spring sect." After speaking, he gestured for the next hunter to approach. Lin Feng wanted to say more, but Chen Shanshan grabbed him. "Let's go, the church doesn't care about this little amount of points." And inside the Hunting Wilderness Guild, several gazes watched them leave, including the shopkeeper from the Nongzhuang Inn. Coming outside the guild, Aoyan instructed her 3 team members to attend to their wounds first and then followed Lin Feng's group on a bicycle. Walking on the flat highway, they quickly passed Mechanical Village and Dawn Village, arriving at the stern of the Oasis battleship, seeing beneath the photovoltaic panels on the Oasis wings, Nongzhuang Village and Holy Spring Village closely following on the left and right. On the left side, Nongzhuang Village was mostly in direct sunlight, and just now, Chen Shanshan chased all the way over here, getting shot at by the village entrance guards. However, at this moment, a batch of personnel on small electric bikes suddenly rushed out from Nongzhuang Village, speeding towards the group. Realizing something was wrong, Lin Feng immediately pedaled the tricycle harder, speeding up to directly charge towards the right-sided Holy Spring Village. Fortunately, Lin Feng's group was not far from Holy Spring Village, less than 500 meters. After accelerating, they passed the intercepting electric bike fleet, and just before being caught, they arrived safely at the Holy Spring Village gate. On 2 armored vehicles painted with a church's emblem, stood 4 armed personnel in gray robes, who leveled their guns at the group from behind. Lin Feng slammed the brakes, took the emblem token from Chen Shanshan's hand, and reached out from the vehicle's sunroof. "I'm here for a task handover. I have the token." The armed personnel of the church saw the silver golden emblem and immediately raised their guns, signaling Lin Feng and the others to enter the village. Then they pointed their guns at the electric bike team that was already catching up behind, stopping them from aiming their guns, and sternly ordered, "This is Holy Spring Village, put down your guns." The leader of the bike team, seeing they had no opportunity to negotiate, had no choice but to order his men to put away their guns and retreat 100 meters to avoid conflict between the 2 villages. As they entered Holy Spring Village, the group, especially Aoyan following behind, was so scared she was pale and sweating. Just moments ago, the people on 3 electric bikes behind her tricycle had drawn rifles, aiming at the armored tricycle ahead with Chen Shanshan's group. If not for the fear imposed by the church's armed personnel, it would have turned into a sieve in seconds. Once inside Holy Spring Village, the group collectively breathed a sigh of relief and slowed down. Lin Feng and his group turned to see that the electric bike team from Nongzhuang Village was still tailing them. It was clear their target was the one who had killed one of their clansmen, Chen Shanshan. At this moment, 2 cultivators from the Holy Spring sect approached. "Follow me, the church father has already been informed and will meet you all at the cathedral." Chapter 40, Holy Spring Village, Suan, Mission Settlement. Upon hearing the word priest, the tall figure emerged in Lin Feng's mind. Perhaps it truly confirmed what he had thought in his heart. He then pedaled the tricycle, following the 2 cultivators. The survivors gradually calmed their emotions after the ordeal, beginning to curiously observe the surroundings. Unlike the eclectic and dilapidated convoy of 5th Village, the convoy of Holy Spring Village was categorized and orderly. There were vehicles specifically for dining, bathing, and using the toilet, along with rare mobile structures like schools and prayer rooms. They were uniformly painted with white, contrasting the yellowish-brown of the desolate wasteland, akin to pure land in the desert oasis. It had a special sacred feeling independent of the world. Each vehicle bore the teaching emblem of the Holy Spring sect, and the few building tops ahead prominently displayed iron manhole cover badges. At the center of Holy Spring Village, a large church converted from a heavy truck silently stands, controlling the pace of the entire village. Although its exterior is plain and simple, the 4-cornered diamond-shaped tower roof tips are embedded with a special silver manhole cover emblem. Even under the shadow of Oasis solar panels, it still gleamed brilliantly. Lin Feng and Alian parked the vehicle beside the church, helping Chen Shenshan inside. It was their first entry into Holy Spring Village and also their first visit to the Holy Spring Church, the faith center of the Oasis. The two guide and cultivators slowly opened the doors. A faint cool breeze brushed their faces. In front of them was a gigantic circular glass, engraved into the shape of the teaching emblem manhole cover, filled with intricate symmetrical patterns. The outdoor light penetrated through this glass window, casting colorful holy radiance inside the church. On the left and right were silver holy grails, 1 meter tall, filled with holy spring water for baptism. And behind the preaching platform between the holy grails, a familiar tall figure slowly turned around. Lin Feng took a deep breath. As he had initially suspected upon seeing the bounty order, the task issuer was the mysterious man who had bought that special mutated wolf fang from him, Father Su of the Holy Spring sect, village chief of Holy Spring Village, the only preacher beneath the oasis, Father Suan. Standing nearly 2 meters tall, Father Suan saw the hunters arriving to complete the task, with a hint of surprise in his eyes, speaking kindly, "Long time no see, young friend selling wolf meat. Looks like we're going to have a second transaction." Father Su walked forward slowly. Lin Feng and his group felt a breeze of spring warmth, quickly stepping aside and bowing slightly. At the church entrance, Father Su saw the three-wheeler filled with desert wolf corpses, smiling contently. "Let's go to the dedicated trading location." He then led Lin Feng's group along with 2 cultivators out of the church. Lin Feng rode closely behind them, heading to the uniformly standardized dormitory area behind Holy Spring Village. This area was completely under the shadow of the oasis solar panels above, making the entire world dim. The group saw many children in the dormitories, just waking from day-night dreams, brushing teeth and washing faces in order, preparing to welcome a new day of life. Compared to the harsh desolation outside the village, it was like 2 completely different worlds, greatly divided. After bypassing the accommodation area, they finally stopped outside a secluded and ordinary bungalow on the right behind Holy Spring Village. To call it a bungalow is somewhat misleading, as it was actually a transformed 12-meter-long medium-sized bus, fully painted white except for the windshield, complemented with black solar panels atop, giving an illusion of blue tiles on white walls. When the 2 three-wheelers, especially the armored tricycle of Lin Feng's group, were connected to the bungalow, the entire vehicle noticeably experienced a delayed sluggishness. The vehicle weighed over 2 tons in total, considering the 21 desert wolves inside the compartment. Once the driver ahead stabilized the speed, Father Suan approached and opened the rear hatch. A rush of cold air greeted them, as Lin Feng looked inside, seeing a tightly closed door further inside the vehicle's rear compartment. The cabin walls were specially reinforced. This was a specially modified refrigerated truck. Lin Feng's group then moved the wolf corpses one by one from the tricycle compartment into the rear compartment of the refrigerated truck. Classified by strength and size, there were 3 level 9 desert wolves, 10 late stage level 7 and 8, and the remaining 8 mid stage level 7 and below. Initially, the desert wolf pack wasn't as powerful, it rapidly escalated in strength by ferociously hunting deserter teams. Fortunately, the leader hadn't ascended to tier 1 mutated desolate beast. Otherwise, the casualties would have been greater. After inspection, Father Suan brought over a nearby electronic scale, then offered the group a high trade price for 1 kilogram of wolf meat for 1 point. Lin Feng's group, including Alian, all gasped in shock upon hearing the offer, overwhelmed with joy. Though wolf meat is precious, after dehydration it weighs less than half the original weight. Hence, 1 kilogram of fresh wolf meat originally amounted to 0.5 points, with quality fluctuation adding value, maximally reaching 0.75 points. Now the priest generously offered 1 point per kilogram in the trade, effectively doubling the original price. This price was irresistible. While fine steel wolf fangs, along with heart and leg meat from the wolf corpses, could fetch double points post-dehydration, they weighed less than 20% of the total and were offset by the negligible value of the intestines and organs. So Lin Feng and others still profited greatly. No wonder the guild's counter staff said this task belonged to the Holy Spring sect, and there was no need to come to the guild for settlement. Because the church didn't lack those few points. Yet cautious as ever, Lin Feng softly voiced his concern. "Sir, regarding the additional reward mentioned in the bounty order, will the 3 level 9 desert wolf corpses earn us an evolution agent?" Examining the fine steel wolf fangs of the wolf corpses, Father Su confirmed the presence of 3 level 9 desert wolves, then turned and replied, "No problem, we'll discuss this at the church later, let's finalize the task settlement first." With these words, he instructed his 2 cultivators to move the wolf corpses onto the scale for weighing and documentation. 8 mid-stage desert wolves totaled roughly 600 kilograms, 10 late-stage desert wolves weigh slightly over 100 kilograms each, amounting to 1,000 kilograms. The last 3 level 9 desert wolves, excluding the leader, weighed 200 kilograms each, while the wolf pack leader, due to its massive size and strength, one step short of Tier 1 desolate beast, weighed an astounding 300 kilograms. Regarding this level 9 wolf pack leader, Father Suan was extremely satisfied, eagerly inspecting the fine steel wolf fangs in its mouth. 21 desert wolves, totaling 2,300 kilograms. Including fur and bones, 2.3 tons, equating to 2,300 shopping points. With such a large sum, it's more than enough to purchase a small bus RV. The complete yield from the last hunt of level 9 rock-horned horse by Lin Feng's group was barely a fraction of this. Indeed, risks lead to rewards. Excluding Li Hu's team's 4 wolves, 1 late-stage and 3 mid-stage desert wolves, totaling 400 kilograms and 400 points. Leaving Lin Feng's team with 1,900 points. This sum could perfectly support Chen Shanshan, who was about to advance as an evolver, in establishing a desert hunting team. With this in thought, as they left the cold storage, everyone wore smiles and their steps were light. The multitude of dangers and life-threatening challenges experienced, now rewarded excellently. Riding the empty tricycle back to the church. The group seated in rows of long benches. Father Suan watched as a cultivator swiftly brought over an anonymous identity card exclusively for the church. Father Suan wrote down 2,300 points on the card and signed his name with a pen. Go to the guild and find the cultivator from Holy Spring Village's shop. He'll guide you to the counter for points exchange. Lin Feng gingerly accepted this identity card. The ink shone with a peculiar rainbow hue under sunlight. He carefully tucked it into his pocket under the watchful eyes of his teammates. Now it represented the lives and fortunes of the 2 teams. With the task complete, Father Suan gradually stood up, addressing everyone present. Now, among you, who will use the evolution agent and become an evolver? Chapter 41, Evolver, Breakfast. Willing to serve. Father Suan's gaze wandered between Lin Feng, Chen Shanshan, and Dal Yan, completely overlooking Liu Qian, who had come to help. After all, she was merely a mid-level level 6 enhanced human, with a long way to go before becoming an evolver. Lin Feng helped Chen Shanshan up from the chair. Father Suan looked at the girl with some surprise. Although she's already level 9, she is seriously injured and needs a period of rest to recover before starting her evolution when she's in good condition. The evolution process can take up to half a day or as little as 5 to 6 hours, exhausting both physique and spirit greatly. Forcing an evolution in her current state poses a significant risk. Upon hearing this, Lin Feng asked in puzzlement, are the evolution agents different from enhancers? Can't she just drink it? Father Suan chuckled, if all it took was consuming the evolutionary meat from a Tier 1 desolate beast, extracting the pure energy liquid, and drinking it to achieve evolution, wouldn't direct consumption also suffice for advancement? Why go through all the trouble to synthesize the evolution agent? Under everyone's puzzled gaze, the priest explained, the transition from enhanced people to evolvers is a magnificent leap in life levels, more than just an improvement in quality. Humans achieving evolution become new humans, already separated from ordinary enhanced people, known as evolvers. However, natural evolution is extremely difficult, requiring survival through several mortal crises in desperate situations before there's a chance for a breakthrough. But this passive evolution has a very low success rate and a high mortality rate and was eliminated early in ancient times. The earliest evolutionary pioneers discovered that consuming the flesh of evolution beasts also accelerated the internal blood circulation, akin to taking a stimulant, rapidly boosting physique power and thereby breaking the limits of enhanced people to become an evolver. Saying this, Father Su turned aside, looking toward the round glass window of the chapel, but the consequences of doing so are extremely severe. Unlike consuming enhanced meat in the enhanced people stage, as a level 9 enhanced person, consuming the flesh of a Tier 1 evolved desolate beast is akin to injecting a large dose of bestial hormone into a toddler, forcibly accelerating his rapid growth. Consequences range from leaving numerous after effects, such as life overdrawn, lack of stamina, uncoordinated body to more severe issues, influencing brain function, inability to maintain concentration, neurological and mental health diseases, etc. Moreover, the result of evolution is not only related to the energy concentration in each type of evolved desolate beast's flesh but also to the individual's physique and adaptability. In short, directly ingesting evolutionary meat poses numerous negative impacts on the enhanced people themselves, with equally high risks. Thankfully, after years of research, humanity has successfully explored and optimized a complete set of evolution modification surgeries, simplified into a potion injection model. And the technology for synthesizing and refining evolution agents is exclusively held by one of the 3 great families of the Oasis, the Li family, notably in Nongxuang village, and the church. The Li family's refining technology comes from the breeding of rock-horned horses, the refinement of Tier 1 rock-horned horses. While we rely on the blessings of the undying saint's holy spring, capable of cleansing the impurities in mutated desolate beast's flesh, leaving only the purest evolution factor. Inject it, and you can achieve safe and stable evolution. As soon as this was said, a bell quietly rang in Holy Spring Village. Father Suan then bowed his head, drawing the prayer ritual of the Holy Spring sect with his fingers on his chest, lightly drawing circles and crosses. While whispering, "Praise the Holy Spring." Lin Feng and the others, unfamiliar with the church, hurriedly mimicked Chen Shanshan beside them, bowing their heads in silent prayer. As the chime of bells concluded 3 times, after brief prayers, Father Suan raised his head again, inviting, "It's breakfast time. We need to rest for a while before injecting the evolution agent. This time, you all helped greatly and are guests of the church. Let's have a meal together." Lin Feng and the others looked at each other. The word breakfast seemed extremely foreign to them. Though they had become affluent, they hadn't become so extravagant as to eat breakfast every early morning. If there's no task in the morning, it's mostly spent resting. Usually, either reading before combat or waiting until hungry to eat. Living outside for long makes it difficult to form regular meal habits, and they had accustomed to saving. With Father Suan leaving, they looked at Lin Feng, who shrugged, "Let's go. There's no harm in eating, it'll be interesting to see how the food at Holy Spring Village is." The group followed the cultist a few steps behind Father Suan, leaving the chapel to the outside and walking into a row of houses converted from shipping containers on the right. Outside these houses hung the words "Dining Hall," consisting of 5 vehicles, 5 sections of freight compartments. Following Father Suan, they entered the last section into a compartment filled with children under 10 years old. The 5-meter-wide compartment held 2 rows of tables, each table a meter wide, with chairs spaced every half meter. A 15-meter freight compartment could accommodate 120 people simultaneously. By this calculation, the kitchen with 5 freight sections could supply meals for 600 people. Thus, it could roughly be estimated that Holy Spring Village's population wasn't large. Most of them were children who came to study and learn. The actual clergy combined with guards might only number around 100. There was a big difference compared to the other 3 major villages and the deserters of 5th Village. The tail section of the compartment's tables was not fully seated, with a third of the space empty, 30 to 40 seats. Lin Feng and the group followed Father Suan, stepping inside and finding seats at the end of the line where the children sat in rows. These children differed significantly from the elementary school students in everyone's impression. They were extremely quiet before eating. No whispering and yelling, nor scratching and looking around. It was likely the church's pre-meal etiquette. Lin Feng thought. Altogether a quiet dining environment, the mood lightens a lot, perfectly enhancing recent thoughts. Through Father Suan's introduction, Lin Feng quickly perceived 2 hidden factual pieces from the background of the evolution agent's development. Firstly, the synthesis and usage technology of the evolution agent is actually controlled by the upper echelon of the Oasis. Secondly, to obtain the evolution agent and become an evolver, one needs to gain their approval. Whether by forming relationships, or hunters exchanging bounty order rewards and points to seize the chance for evolution, one must submit to the extant governing order of the Oasis. In other words, you must first prove your strength to the 3 great families of the Oasis and the Church, then through affiliations or declarations of allegiance, truly earn the chance for evolution. And should there be refusal, the consequences are imaginable. Lin Feng heard the priest's implicit message, yet it didn't deter him from making choices. In this barren and desolate wasteland world, strong centralized governance is precisely necessary to maintain long-term stable order. And defying order, naturally, comes with corresponding costs. As a food-laden tricycle parked at the back of the compartment dining hall, 2 female cultivators ladled a pot of white porridge from the food buckets. The children inside the compartment stood one by one and queued orderly, accepting the full plates handed by the female cultivators from the innermost to the outermost. As they were guests, coupled with the presence of Reverend, the female cultivators proactively delivered 5 servings of breakfast to Lin Feng's group. Lin Feng looked down to see a starch porridge made from plant tubers, filled with thin meat shreds, along with each person being served 10 orange red sea buckthorn fruits. A bowl of over half a pound of meat porridge with post-meal fruit. Lin Feng remembered never having eaten so well in his previous life. After the breakfast distribution, before moving the spoon, came the customary gratitude prayer ceremony. Everyone interlocked their fingers, holding them before their chest, praise the Holy Spring. After a simple ceremony, they began eating breakfast. Lin Feng impatiently picked up a spoon, tasting the warm meat porridge. Good taste, right? Come often if you get the chance. Across Lin Feng, Father Su smiled as he spoke. Lin Feng paused momentarily, then replied, Reverend, we would like to serve the church. Hope you can intervene to handle miscellanies outside concerning Nongzhuang village. Chapter 42, Indenture contract, level 10 mutated wolf fang. Hearing Lin Feng's response, Father Suan smiled slightly but shook his head, saying, the church has its own specially trained protective forces. Qualified students will become combat priests and temple knights. There's no need for outsiders to serve. Lin Feng froze for a moment, quickly realizing the issue, and hurriedly changed his line, as part of the desert hunting team, we will serve only you, Father. Father Suan nodded with satisfaction. As a priest, I cannot leave Oasis Town too far. Sometimes when things arise, it requires outside personnel to handle them. Rest assured, it's just like a bounty order, but issued directly by me, bypassing the guild. As for rewards and compensation, it'll be more than what you would earn accepting orders from the guild, and you can get internal prices on merchandise in the church's shop. The number of tasks won't be too many, nor will they be too long. Compared to those that last 10 or 20 years outside, you only need to complete a few tasks within the next 2 or 3 years, after which you will regain your freedom. But correspondingly, I cannot provide support like motorhomes or combat vehicles. You'll need to earn and accumulate those yourself, and it might be tough initially. So, for the next few Holy Spring days, there won't be any tasks. After you become evolvers, you can take on more orders, striving to enhance the team's strength. After introducing his requirements and benefits, Father Suan took a few sips from the bowl of meat porridge before continuing. About the situation outside the village earlier, how did you provoke them during the wolf hunting operation? Upon hearing Father Suan mention the crucial issue, Lin Feng, immersed in thought, realized it and quickly explained the whole story. Our wolf hunting operation was overheard by a steward under an evolver. He and his people planned to ambush us, but I directly counterkilled them. Captain Chen shot and killed that guy at the Nongzhuang village entrance during the pursuit. He seemed to be part of the Li family from Nongzhuang village, so we formed a grudge, but since he was sent as a steward, he shouldn't be a key figure. Suan nodded, reminding, minor issue, just wait and send someone to greet the Li family village chief. In the future, they won't act openly, but be wary of their schemes behind the scenes, especially evolvers loyal to the Li family, who might sabotage during outside missions. Lin Feng thanked repeatedly. After lunch, everyone returned to the church. Father Suan checked Chen Shanshan's condition and intended to let her rest more, planning evolution afternoon. After all, it's a gunshot wound, which normally takes months for a regular person to recover from. Thanks to the physique of a level 9 enhanced person being 5 times superior to normal human physique, the wound had already scabbed but still required more rest. During this period, Lin Feng asked if they could extract a heart or thigh meat from the level 9 desolate wolf corpse to aid Chen Shanshan's recovery. This part of the consumption would be deducted with points. Consuming edible enhanced meat of the same or higher level can restore lost life value and accelerate wound healing. Father Suan nodded. There happens to be a need for manpower to handle these wolf corpses. You help out, and the enhanced meat counts as recompense, which will also strengthen your team's power when you return. Lin Feng was overjoyed, knowing that what Father Suan truly cared about were the mutated steel wolf fangs in the desert wolves' mouths, not the other parts. After instructing Liu Qian to take care of Chen Shanshan, Lin Feng followed Father Suan to leave. After the two left, the 3 women sat quietly in the solemn church, exchanging casual conversation. Today's experiences left Alian feeling unsettled, still not recovered. She never imagined that Chen Shanshan, always kind-hearted, could do something so courageous. Since she returned following Lin Feng, Alian didn't know the follow-up of Chen Shanshan chasing the attacker. She thought Chen Shanshan had only been shot once. What surprised Alian more is how Lin Feng and his team managed to find a glimmer of hope in this desperate situation. Serving Father Suan is far more favorable and fair compared to signing a labor contract with the other 3 major clans. While discussing this matter with the other 2 women, Alian spoke. Usually, very few people complete evolution through the Holy Spring Church, unless they have made significant contributions to the church. Ordinary evolvers rely on the 3 major clans and sign cooperation contracts with them. On this matter, Chen Shanshan wasn't familiar, only knowing that her master worked hard for many years to escape the control of the major clans of the Oasis, becoming a free evolver. She was only in her teens then, and due to the numerous chores of the desert hunting team, she voluntarily took on logistical tasks, not having time for church schools. Although her master and others never let her go either. Powerful hunters maintain a trace of vigilance toward the Holy Spring Church amidst their admiration. Frowning slightly, Alian elaborated, it's said to be a cooperation contract, but it's essentially a servitude contract, requiring 10 or even 20 years of service to the 3 major clans, completing tasks they assign. For instance, Nongzhuang village needs to collect wild rock-horned horses as breeding material to ensure quality livestock, Dusk Village and Mechanical Village require retrieval of copper and wiring from past city ruins, including discarded vehicles, etc. These are just daily chores. The crucial part is exploring underground ruins on behalf of the three major clans, collecting supplies. Inside the ruins, there are shelters with preserved modern civilization, abundant resources but fraught with danger. Even powerful evolvers face high mortality rates inside. With a sigh, Alyan lamented, the motorhomes and weapons assigned to each evolver are provided under this servitude contract. The more borrowed in advance, the longer the bonded constraint. Li, who prepared for many years, specifically to rid himself of Oasis's exploitation once becoming an evolver. The plan was to save money and take everyone away from Oasis Town, to the big cities, to see the world. Chen Shanshan remained silent. All their efforts now, after the wolf hunting operation, had become Lin Feng's team's fortunes. At this point, Liu Qian looked at Alyan and replied, though Captain Li Hu has passed, his ambition has been inherited by Lin Feng. The words he imparted before passing, perhaps he wanted Lin Feng to witness this world on his behalf. We are survivors of this operation, it's recorded. The more dispersed we are, the easier we become targets, individually picked off by non-Xuang village's cronies. Only by uniting can we survive. Pledging allegiance to Father Suan merely alleviates the crisis temporarily, while threats from non-Xuang village remain unresolved. If everyone wants to live, they must tightly rally around Lin Feng, engaging in resistance and counterattacks. Alyan is a level 9 enhanced person, with rich wasteland experience and significant prowess. Bringing her, alongside the rest of the team, would be a huge relief for Lin Feng's personnel-deficient team. Given Liu Qian's guidance and analysis, Alyan nodded and sighed, I'll consider it. Meanwhile, on the other side of Holy Spring Village, within a cold storage vehicle at the far right side, Lin Feng was cutting up the wolf corpses with a dagger. Father Suan and Lin Feng both donned a set of plastic raincoats. Per Father's instruction, from the desert wolf carcasses, besides prying away all the fine steel wolf fangs, they collected lymph nodes and various glands near the blood vessels, including the liver and kidneys. The former Lin Feng understood their connection with mutated wolf fangs' unknown effects. But the latter organs accumulate toxins. Father Suan specifically collecting these, for what purpose, Lin Feng was uncertain. Working for 4 hours, beginning at dawn around 6 until 10, they fully processed the 21 desert wolf corpses. Extracted the internal organs, peeled off the wolf hides, with the skin products stacked in the cold storage by Father, the temperature inside sank to -10 degrees, allowing long-term preservation. From the mouths of 3 level 9 desolate wolves, several level 9 mutated steel dog teeth were discovered. Especially in the wolf pack leader's mouth, Lin Feng pried out 2 reddened steel dog teeth, both 15 centimeters long, mutated steel wolf fang level 10, red quality possesses strong biological activity, implantable within the body to optimize cell structure, greatly enhancing physique strength, having intense spirit impacts, related to the mysterious wolf race bloodline heritage, liable to trigger unknown consequences. Red quality signifies the next stage aligned with level 10 evolver tier, which the tricycle had encountered previously. Now, the level 10 mutated wolf fang broadened Lin Feng's perspective regarding this eerily frenzied world. The active components within might be the source of evolution. Father Suan, delighted with the acquisition of 2 level 10 mutated wolf fangs. Lin Feng seized the opportunity to inquire about taking some ordinary fine steel wolf fangs to enhance equipment. Satisfied with the level 10 wolf fang in hand, Father Suan gladly agreed. Lin Feng pocketed 20+ fine steel wolf fangs, felt his waistline where the automatic pistol hung, and knew his combat power had further intensified. Alongside, he also took away 1 level 9 wolf heart. Plus, 2 wolf legs weighing 100 pounds each from level 9 wolves. Chapter 43, Su Yui, Level 8 Wolf Fang Handgun 12 o'clock noon, mealtime. Because a special meal was prepared for Chen Shanshan, everyone could eat 2 courses after the 3 bells rang. First, the usual meal together with the students. Still in the canteen of the 5th carriage, but this time Father Suan did not come. After finding about a dozen mutated wolf fangs from the 21 desert wolf corpses, both the person and materials disappeared directly. Although the priest was not present, the canteen remained quiet, with each child receiving their lunch in turn, and Lin Feng and the others collecting theirs at the end. Lunch was much richer than breakfast. There was a steamed meat steak, 4 ounces of horse meat, and besides that, a sticky mashed potato as the main dish. The taste was slightly sweet, like a cross between a potato and a sweet potato, similar to the mutated sea buckthorn grass, another common edible plant in the wasteland. No familiar rice or noodle dishes were seen. Guessing is hard too. Although oasis water is plentiful, it is not luxurious enough to grow rice or wheat on a large scale. Potatoes only need sunlight and water to grow rapidly, maturing in less than 2 months, with especially high yields. Currently, mashed potatoes paired with rock-horned horse dried meat have become the mainstream meal in Oasis Town. As for green vegetables, they are considered a luxury in the Wasteland, and although they're grown in Nong Zwang village, they are rarely sold. Only Oasis upper class can enjoy a variety of mixed meals every meal. Lunch, besides steamed meat mashed potatoes, was also accompanied by 5 cherry tomatoes, just to supplement the vitamins lacking in the body. This kind of meal is something many deserters in the Wasteland dream of. And it's provided free here. Holy Spring Village recruits children for free, and back at the Holy Spring gathering, the reason Lin Feng could encounter Father Suan was that he was at the slave market, rescuing children under 15. However, the number of children who could wake up from underground shelters is very few, as their resistance was too weak, unable to withstand the scorching baking of the scorching sun-forbidden area. So most of the children in Holy Spring Village are second-generation Wasteland residents, with little knowledge of the glorious civilization of the past. And they are more easily indoctrinated by the church, becoming faithful followers from a young age. As Lin Feng ate mashed potatoes, he pondered and observed the model of the Holy Spring sect. The harsh environment of the Wasteland is the natural soil for the church to take root. Perhaps every town has a similar Holy Spring Village as the church's blood source, continuously supplying power above. This is much more terrifying than the large families in the Oasis upper class. Amidst Lin Feng's contemplation, a little girl carrying a tray sat beside him. Unlike the other uniformly dressed and styled children, the girl had long hair, fair skin, and a delicate appearance. There was a small flower hair clip on her hair, making her look like a porcelain doll. The key was the aura she emanated, sometimes weak, sometimes strong, sometimes reaching mid-stage enhancement, sometimes no response, just like an ordinary person. "Hello," Lin Feng politely said, feeling a bit curious. The girl turned her head and very politely said, "Hello, I'm Su Yui, the class monitor of Class 5. Are you guests of Father?" Upon hearing the name Su Yui, Lin Feng realized something and nodded with a smile. "Can you help to look for a small animal called Toad in your future outings?" Su Yui continued. At this time, 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, came to Lin Feng's seat. One of the sturdiest boys put down his tray and hastily explained, "I'm telling the truth. When I was young, my dad brought back from a mission, a soft-skinned animal the size of a palm, called Toad, and it croaked when caught. And it was precious. Nong Zwang village offered a high price of hundreds of points. My dad didn't sell it, but offered a lick for 1 point. At that time many hunters and deserters fought to pay, just to taste it. I called it guagua. Unfortunately, my dad wouldn't let me try it. Later I secretly licked it, and guess what? The attention of everyone was drawn, and the boy continued somewhat proudly. The feeling was very wonderful, like being held in a mother's warm embrace, comfortable, and at the same time, I seemed to hear God's call, as if seeing the master of the Holy Spring beckoning to me." Saying this, the boy felt some loss. Unfortunately, guagua died less than a Holy Spring day later, and my dad never caught it again. Hearing that this animal called Toad could let people see the master of the Holy Spring, the other children exclaimed at the boy's vivid description. Lin Feng's mouth twitched, and any good impression he had for these little brats disappeared entirely. As expected, little kids are always mischievous, at an age full of curiosity about the world, wanting to try everything. Describing the licking of a hallucinogen so loftily was the first time Lin Feng had seen it. Perceiving the boy's slightly familiar appearance, Lin Feng suddenly asked, "Is your dad's last name Huang?" The boy nodded, then revealed a hint of fear. "No, you. Do you know my dad?" Lin Feng pinched his brow silently. Turns out this one was Boss Huang's son. It seems that in his younger days, old Huang wasn't just a playboy but also a hippie. The black history was exposed by his own son. Next to him, Chen Chanshan, who was late to realize, burst into laughter upon hearing Lin Feng's question, talking to the boy. "Huang Heiwan is your dad. Alright, let's put an end to this matter. The Toad is not a good thing. What's important now is that you focus on your studies," Lin Feng said in a serious tone. "Avoid letting this group of kids go down the wrong path." The 3 kids left with their trays, looking somewhat reluctantly. Su Yui, sitting beside Lin Feng, pouted, a bit unhappy. Seeing this little group leader as a young lady, Lin Feng's speculation was mostly confirmed, so he comforted, "Toads are especially ugly, not something pretty girls should play with. Next time I'll bring you other little pets." Only then did Su Yui smile, shuffled closer to Lin Feng, turned her head to sniff him, and whispered, "You smell so nice." Lin Feng was taken aback, as this exhaust-wind combat suit seemed to smell only of sweat and blood with nothing else. After saying that, she picked up her tray, quickly ran back to her seat, and buried her head in it. The other 3 girls, sitting by, could hear her whisper because they were so close. The young woman could not escape their ears with her soft mutterings. All Yan teased, From a 50-year-old aunt to a 10-year-old girl, it seems you have them all charmed to bits. Eat and let's go, the kitchen has prepared wolf heart. Just in time for everyone to taste. To prevent this group of kids from going astray, the 3 children left with their trays, looking somewhat dissatisfied. Taking the stuff back to the car outside the church. The size of a soccer ball wolf heart, cut into 4 portions, Chen Shanshan sliced them, pairing with cherry tomatoes, making it very chewy to eat. As Lin Feng continued eating, he took out the pocket in his pocket for the last upgrade before becoming a revolver. At the same time, the revolver upgrade was also completed. Effective range, ammo capacity, fire rate, bullet speed level 8 Wolf Fang handgun, white quality, marking. Chapter 44, Rapid Pursuit, Lin Feng level 9, evolution, white quality, level 8 Wolf Fang handgun, brand, basic attributes, damage, 40, effective range, 1000 meters, remaining Wolf Fang bullet reserve, 500, upgrade status, uplifted to host level limit, extra attributes, bullet recovery, 1 out of 1, space magazine, 500 rounds, automatic mode fire rate, 20 shots per second, rapid pursuit, bullet speed increased by 100%, with a muzzle bullet initial speed of 900 meters per second, note, has become a branded item, gaining a wear-resistant special effect, infinite durability, evaluation, a handgun that doubles bullet initial speed, comparable to sniper rifle bullet speed, with all rounds replaced by Wolfang bullets, offers longer range, greater power, capable of killing targets within a kilometer in 1 second, and firepower not inferior to machine guns. The appearance of the upgraded Wolfang handgun showed more silvery gleam, gradually changing from the original silver-black to silver-gray due to the infusion of fine steel Wolfang. Meanwhile, to enhance the range and bullet initial speed, the barrel became longer, now exceeding 25 centimeters, with an overall length of 40 centimeters. The weight also grew from an initial half a pound, expanding to the current 6 pounds, just slightly lighter than a regular automatic rifle. However, for Lin Feng, who was about to become a level 9 enhanced person, his strength was already 7 or 8 times his initial level, making the 6-pound weight easy to handle with one hand. If this had been upon first awakening, the recoil from firing could have directly dislocated his wrist, entirely unmanageable. After the upgrade, Lin Feng stored away the Wolfang handgun, joined the 3 women who had finished eating, and entered the quiet chapel to rest. Chen Shanshan was already asleep, resting fully sated, while Al Yan sat in the front row, bowing her head in prayer. This is a place for ordinary deserters, nearest to the Master of the Holy Spring, a location usually out of reach. Lin Feng and Liu Qian explored around, both having spent the shortest time in the Wasteland, one just over a week, the other merely a year. Brought up in modern ideas, they felt little impact from what was supposedly the church. Lin Feng noticed a bulletin board hanging on the wall, listing the key personnel of Holy Spring Village along with introductions. At the top was Priest Suan, the most senior and powerful. At the Hunting Wilderness Guild, Lin Feng had encountered many evolvers, including the gatekeeper security Uncle Wu and the shopkeepers of the 4 major villages' stores. Each had a different strength level, with Uncle Wu's being the strongest and sharpest, staring as though a blade pointed at you, leaving one slightly insecure. Yet in Priest Suan, Lin Feng never sensed an overwhelmingly powerful aura. Sometimes the gentle priest felt like just an ordinary person, offering a sense of warmth and reliability. But Lin Feng knew well that Priest Suan's strength far exceeded that of a common evolver. Otherwise, he couldn't have hidden his aura so well, with just a word, stopping nuisance pursuits from Nongzhuang village. On Holy Spring Day's gospel ceremony, standing beside the most powerful bishop of Oasis Town, his status and identity spoke volumes. Beneath Priest Suan were 2 assistant priests, responsible for each Holy Spring Day's worship ceremonies and later management of Holy Spring Village. Further down were 10 combat priests, the village's guard force, all evolvers, transformed through trials of the Lord, becoming a determined preacher. Lastly, the grassroots cultivators numbered over 200. Divided into 3 levels according to the enhanced person's ranks, they comprised early, middle, and late stages, corresponding to levels 3, 2, and 1 cultivators. When Priest Suan purchased the mutated Wolfang, he mentioned Lin Feng could move into Holy Spring Village as a grassroots cultivator. Day-to-day safety, essentials provided, a status much higher than permanent residents of other 3 major villages and 5th village, receiving the best treatment for a basic position in Oasis Town. Through the bottom introduction of the bulletin board, Lin Feng learned more about the Holy Spring sect. As a level 1 cultivator of late-stage enhanced people, upon advancing to a Tier 1 evolver, one doesn't immediately obtain a promotion of duties, but must head to a big city's Holy Spring sect, facing trials and evaluations of the Grand Archbishop, becoming a missionary first before determining future development. There are assistant priests and priests dedicated to preaching and combat priests responsible for church protection, as well as temple knights mentioned by Suan. Thus observed, the organizational structure and personnel selection of the Holy Spring sect were very mature. Spread across the wasteland, from initial formation to the present stage, undoubted long passage of time was endured. It also proved a mysterious incident had occurred many years prior. Beside him, Liu Qian realized the same. After processing the astonishment, a deep confusion emerged. Feeling as if awakening from a vivid dream, separated from reality. "Let's go, look elsewhere," Lin Feng said softly, stepping away from the wall. Other walls recorded the descent of the Master of the Holy Spring and subsequent major events, such as the Lord's initial encounter with followers, the Undying Saint meeting in an ancient place named Yu Province, and the miracle arrival within Yu Province's Zumi Divine Hall. On that day, the Undying Saint opened a well cover, and a torrent of Holy Spring gushed forth, saving thousands of dying people at that moment. Lin Feng felt some myth and legend stories possibly had a basis in fact but certainly contained exaggerated elements, transforming an ordinary water-seeking event into something divine. After reviewing the Holy Spring Sect's chronicle, Lin Feng and Liu Qian returned to their seats, lost in contemplation. Soon a notification flashed to the side of Lin Feng's vision. Character, Lin Feng, Level 9, Attributes, Life Value, 49 out of 50, Physique, 49 out of 50, Spirit, 48 out of 50, Attribute Limits, each Level 9 attribute maximum, 50, Item Upgrade cap raised to Level 9, 1 life value point can be consumed to upgrade the Level 8 Wolfang handgun. Upon advancing to a Level 9 enhanced person, Lin Feng felt a wave of relief, exhaling deeply. Strengthened along the way to his current capability, he was no longer the lowest deserter struggling with survival, able now at least to find a place in Oasis Town. The next goal was achieving Tier 1 Evolver status. Only then could he truly establish himself within this wasteland. An afternoon's rest lasting over 3 hours followed. When a bell chimed outside, the joyful commotion of children playing was heard from beyond the chapel. Lin Feng guessed it was dismissal time from school. Shortly thereafter, as a bell tolled once more, children's laughter and play sounded outside, signaling the end of school. Before long, a cultivator arrived to guide them, and after the outdoors echoed with laughter from children released from school, Lin Feng guessed it was time to go. Chen Shanshan, stretching lazily, had already mostly self-healed the gunshot wound on her right arm, thanks to the Level 9 Desolate Wolf's Heart which sped up her life value recovery. The group of 4 followed the cultivator to the left rear of Holy Spring Village, adjacent to the right side of the Oasis battleship, a place where sunlight never reached, shrouded in gloom. They boarded a vehicle, which took them beside the Oasis battleship's right side, perpetually shadowed from sun, with dim illumination. From within the vehicle, Lin Feng and Liu Qian observed Chen Shanshan inside, undergoing various physical examinations. The main assessments focused on whether her physique and spirit states were adequate, including minor skin tests to determine allergic or rejection reactions to the pure evolution liquid. This was to adjust the concentration and dosage for injection. These tasks were performed by an assistant priest and relevant cultivators, checking bodily compatibility with the pure evolution liquid, adjusting concentration, and adapting dose volumes accordingly. Upon completion of initial screenings, Chen Shanshan lay down on an operating table, her 4 limbs securely bound with thick straps to prevent reactions during the surgical process from exceeding early-stage evolver's strength. Just then, Ling Feng noticed a cool little hand grabbing his hand resting at one side. He quickly turned his head, only to find a mushroom-headed girl with long hair appearing mysteriously beside him. This unexpected figure was none other than Su Yui, whom he had met briefly during lunch. At this moment, she pulled down on Lin Feng's hand with her grasp. Lin Feng was still taken aback, puzzled at how he hadn't noticed Su Yui's sudden appearance. Just then, a familiar voice interrupted from behind. During the evolution process, if a stress response occurs, the subject will exhibit strength far beyond an early-stage evolver. That's why these straps bind tightly, said Father Suan as he approached from behind. Chapter 45, Evolutionary Modification, Blinding, and Mission. Father Suan slowly approached. At this moment, his eyes were dark-ringed, and he looked exhausted, as if he hadn't slept for days. Since disappearing in the morning, he had been studying the 2 level 10 mutated wolf fangs, overexerting his energy. After speaking, he stopped in front of everyone. Lin Feng's companion, Su Yui, seeing this, shrank back a little. Father Suan raised his hand, gently rubbed her head, and spoke softly, "Go play with your companions, this is not a place for children." Su Yui nodded and jogged away. Lin Feng watched her figure recede. "Sir, is that your daughter?" Suan nodded. When Yui was born 10 years ago, her physique wasn't very good. Thanks to the Holy Spring's help, she managed to survive healthily. Lin Feng squinted his eyes slightly, noting that the church's laws and rules were quite lenient, allowing for normal marriage and childbirth. But then again, the Wasteland population is already sparse, with 70% of deserters barely having enough to eat. Without encouraging evolvers to reproduce, they might face a population gap. After mentioning this briefly, Suen looked through the glass window at the ongoing injection modification. Chen Shanshan was somewhat nervous, recalling how, as a child, she heard her masters discuss the evolution process, and how some people's adverse reactions were exceptionally strong. Although continuous iterations and optimizations have made the success rate of injecting the evolution liquid extremely high, almost achieving 100% qualitative evolution, a successful evolution doesn't mean the previous sequelae instantly vanish, only greatly reduced. Aside from excessive reactions damaging the physique and spirit, a death rate of under 1% indeed exists. The risk is very low, but not non-existent. Therefore, the generally recommended age for evolution is between 20 and 35 years old. The minimum is not to be under 15 years old, and the oldest not over 40, as risks increase outside this range. This was also why Shanshan's master did not allow Chen Shanshan to start evolution early, feeling that helping her advance to late-stage enhanced person before leaving was already a bit much. As for the aging Li Hu, he represented the other side of this issue, wishing to have one last fight before turning 40. Now that Chen Shanshan is 18, she can barely begin her evolution. The assistant priest carefully took out a semi-transparent potion from the low-temperature freezer, then drew out 5 small syringes of evolution liquid using 5 needles. Then, the 5 present personnel began injecting Chen Shanshan, who was on the operating table. The injection points were on both arms, both legs at the ankles, and at the neck of the spine. Injections were administered simultaneously at all 5 locations. When the evolution liquid in the syringes was slowly injected into Chen Shanshan's body, one could see her limbs instantly tense, the blue veins under the skin bulging with the tensing muscles, twitching and even writhing as her hands and feet convulsed. Outside the window, Father Suen began explaining the principles to everyone. When stimulated by the evolution liquid, cells undergo qualitative evolution, with the original cellular structure being reshaped to build new, stronger Tier 1 cells. This permanently locks in the over 1 ton of strength of a level 9 enhanced person. The 1 ton strength, which previously required adrenaline stimulation to unleash, would now become the norm for this new body. This qualitative change process also sped up the blood circulation, spreading from the limbs to the trunk. The evolution liquid injected into the neck vertebrae also started strengthening and modifying the nervous system in the spine, greatly enhancing Chen Shanshan's reaction speed. This is also the most distinguishable characteristic of an evolver compared to level 9 enhanced people, apart from superpowers. The rapid neural response allows an evolver to handle the attacks of several level 9 enhanced people simultaneously. And with the enhancement of the physique, an evolver can explode at a speed of 30 meters per second, equivalent to a vehicle traveling 100 kilometers per hour, comparable to a cheetah. This is 3 times the trained professional athlete, and double that of a late-stage enhanced person. So, the latter's attack appears slow-motion ridiculous before an evolver's eyes. But at this moment, the strengthening of the nervous system also caused Chen Shanshan to experience intense pain, like the micro-tearing bites of countless insects over her entire body. The sensation of burning and numbness alternated. The whole person bounced like a carp, and if not for her limbs being tightly restrained, she could arch her back like a mantis shrimp. Fortunately, such pain only lasted for 10 minutes, after which it rapidly subsided. Because the dosage ratio was just right, the modifications and optimizations did not fall short to cause an evolutionary failure, nor did they exceed bounds, which would have overburdened the body, turning transformation into destruction and leaving sequelae. As the most intense early stage ended, the subsequent adaptive improvements happened imperceptibly. The assistant priest and 4 cultivators nearby did not relax, holding sedatives in case of emergencies. Although a Tier 1 evolver initially only possesses a ton of strength, under stress response, they can explode with several tons of extreme power, entering a frenzied state of insanity. Like a humanoid beast, extremely dangerous. At this moment, the comatose Chen Shanshan's breathing was even and appeared unusually calm. Outside the window, Lin Feng and the others finally let out a sigh of relief, their tense hearts gradually relaxing. But behind them, Father Suen wore a serious expression and said, if the early physical changes are not too severe, the awakened superpower isn't related to physique, it's likely to be spiritual class. Did Miss Chen awaken any superpowers prematurely during the late-stage enhancement phase? Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. Not many people knew about this, apart from Ding Yi and himself. Qi Mountain and Li Hu were no longer alive. Given that this concerned the success of evolution and there weren't many outsiders nearby, Lin Feng, after several seconds of consideration, slowly spoke, yes. After reaching level 7, she awakened the ability of perception, allowing her to detect nearby dangers. Father Suan nodded, then there's no mistake. It seems Miss Chen is very fortunate. The chance of awakening a spiritual system superpower is actually less than 5%. Each one is basically an outstanding talent among evolvers. This will greatly help when you form the desert hunting team for missions later on. As Father Suan's words ceased, everyone was still immersed in his preliminary introduction to superpowers. Suddenly, the scene inside the window dimmed. The entire space's light vanished in an instant. From the outside, the medical office seemed as if the lights turned off, plunging into darkness. In the sun-scorched wasteland of eternal day, such a night-like gloom appeared. The few outside were instantly appalled, and Lin Feng was startled by the sudden change. Even the always composed Father Suan showed a very grave expression. He hurriedly comforted everyone, "Don't worry, this is Miss Chen's first full awakening of her superpower, she can't control it freely yet." Then he solemnly reminded everyone there, including the assistant priests and cultivators inside the medical office, but judging by the spiritual energy wave from inside, it's not an offensive ability, it should just be another enhancement of her perception ability. There's no danger, no need to panic. Inside the medical office, engulfed by darkness, the assistant priests soon calmed down and instructed everyone to stay put to prevent any mishaps in the panic. And soon, the darkness that appeared lasted less than 10 seconds before gradually dissipating. The light outside shone back in, illuminating the dimmed medical office. The receding darkness, like a contracting mist, gradually withdrew into Chen Shanshan on the operating table. It's over. After resting for 2 or 3 hours, once her mental state recovers, Miss Chen will awaken and embrace her evolver life. Suan slowly spoke, leaving with a remark, "Lin Feng, come here." Lin Feng nodded, confirmed that Chen Shanshan had completed the evolution modification, and followed Father Suan's silhouette. Leaving the medical office, the two walked among the slowly moving convoy in the village, seeing groups of children frolicking and playing. In a distant vehicle equipped with park playground facilities, children played on slides and seesaws. Su Yuing sat alone at the top of a climbing frame, listening idly to the boys below chatting aimlessly. Seeing this, Suan smiled and remarked, "Yuing seems to like you, she rarely interacts with others, you should come more often." Lin Feng nodded. The superpower Miss Chen awakened should be a blinding effect to complement her perception ability, very effective in close combat. After mentioning this, Father Suan brought up serious matters. "In the coming days, you need to form a desert hunting team quickly and recruit more evolvers. 50 kilometers from Oasis Town on the left, there's a migrating large beast herd, with many Tier 1 desolate beasts. As long as you account for a Tier 1 beast carcass, I can immediately apply for modifications and devolution for you." Saying this, Father Suan entered his office. A one-room one-hall space within a modified minibus. Lin Feng followed him inside. Suan unrolled a 2-meter-long world map, marking the current position of everyone. "After the next Holy Spring Day, Oasis Town will pass by an underground relic. I need you to retrieve a special item from it. We'll discuss the specific mission once you're eligible to go. For now, if you have any questions, I can answer those I know." Lin Feng had waited for this moment for a very long time, and couldn't help blurting out, "I want to know, what happened to this world?" Chapter 46, Wandering Earth Project, Filtration Device. "I want to know, what's really happened to this world? What happened before we woke up?" Due to prolonged hibernation, the survivors who awoke on the wasteland lost most of their memories, leaving only indistinct fragments of the past. Lin Feng was no different. He recalled previously being just an ordinary graduate employee, then some change seemed to occur on Earth, after which he remembered nothing. The lower-tier deserters were no different, clueless about everything. Even Chen Shanshan learned only vague fragments from her master. Now with the opportunity before him, Lin Feng naturally wanted to understand why Earth has turned into today's apocalyptic wasteland. Father Suan was the most powerful and prestigious person he could connect with, even in Oasis Town, he was among that small elite. Upon hearing Lin Feng's question, Father Suan smiled knowingly as if he had anticipated the question, and spoke, "This question has troubled me for a long time, as it troubles every survivor of the wasteland. Many years ago, when I first joined the Holy Spring sect, I might have given you the popular explanation of the wasteland. The answer gradually pieced together after most evolvers recalled the past. A long time ago, around the year 2000 AD, humanity faced an end-of-the-world crisis, the specifics of which are no longer recorded, but as the crisis approached, humans gained the ability to start evolving. Suddenly, various talented evolvers emerged onto the grand historical stage. Ultimately, they devised a strategy to respond to the crisis, use Earth as a carrier to drive the whole planet away from the soon-to-be-destroyed solar system. According to the planned procedure, move towards Proxima Centauri, the smallest star in the three-star system, Where the other two stars are similar in size to the Sun, these three are collectively referred to as Alpha Centauri, also known as Centaurus. Approximately 4.22 light-years from the solar system, approximately 40 trillion kilometers. The plan was to build 10,000 planet engines to propel Earth forwards, along with 10,000 underground shelters to protect humanity. Over 500 years, Earth would accelerate to 5 of the speed of light, which is 1,500 kilometers per second, then glide for 1,300 years before reversing the engine direction for 700 years to decelerate, and ultimately dock into Proxima Centauri's orbit. The wandering Earth plan would take a total of 2,500 years. Originally, the plan was to proceed as expected, with all survivors entering the various underground shelters and lying in hibernation pods. They were set to automatically awaken after 2,500 years. But after that, the first humans to emerge from the shelters were roasted alive by a scorching sun. Looking up, there were 3 suns hanging at the horizon, creating a world with eternal daylight, without night. Eventually, everyone found that the positions of the 3 suns almost equally divided Earth, each illuminating about 1/3 of the area, rotating from east to west at a speed of less than 18.5 kilometers per day, incessantly moving. Earth's circumference is 40,000 kilometers, so it takes 6 years for the 3 suns to make one round trip, and thus it's referred to as the Wasteland year. It's 6 times longer than the old solar system. Since then, the survivors from the shelters began migrating and living in the areas between the 3 suns, using resources stored in shelters and city ruins to strive to restore civilization. As more survivors woke up, people discovered this was definitely not the destination Centaurus. The 3-star system was not 3 stars orbiting each other. During humanity's dormancy period, something unknown happened that changed the trajectory of human fate. And from the time humans have awakened, 1,000 wasteland years have passed as recorded. Which translates to 6,000 old years. Saying this, Father Suan sighed deeply and took out a book from behind, a Holy Spring scripture. After I joined the Holy Spring sect and perused the sect's internal literature, I found that everything was far more complex. 300 wasteland years ago, there was once an archbishop who tried to uncover the truth of the wasteland and traveled alone near the equator to inspect the planet engines built back then. Ultimately, he returned to tell everyone he found nothing. The wandering Earth plan might not even exist. The secrets within were only known to the pioneers of the evolution wave back then, who were responsible for executing the entire plan. Now they have long disappeared, leaving behind stories that have become legends circulated across the wasteland. The real truth is buried in relics of the past, and the method to resolve the 3 days in the sky is among them. After listening to Father Suan's explanation, Lin Feng was deeply shocked and gradually began to recall the events of those years. Everyone was ignited by the wave of evolution. Compared to countless geniuses, Lin Feng was just a mediocre level 4 enhanced person, slightly competent among the lower class people. Then came an end-of-the-world crisis that necessitated fleeing the solar system, hence the wandering Earth plan was put on the agenda. Even though his abilities were low, in the chaos he became a leader of a construction team and soon entered the shelter. He lay in a hibernation pod, waiting for wandering Earth to take him into a beautiful new world. But upon waking up, he found himself in the wasteland, wronged, and near death. He fought hard all the way and finally settled down. So the savior who shot down the sun, rumored among the deserters, truly exists? Lin Feng recalled the joke Ding Yi made with him when he first arrived. Father Suan laughed slightly, then said seriously, "Of course he exists. He is the great prophet who led humanity to the surface and explored the new world, leaving behind his last future prophecy before his death. And the master of the Holy Spring we worship, the savior of the wasteland world, will under the leadership of the undying saint, save all humanity, resolve the 3 days in the sky, and finally reach a true new world." Suan's expression seemed slightly excited. Lin Feng roughly understood, all the churches on the wasteland likely believed themselves to be that savior. So he no longer discussed this unsolvable topic but instead asked another pressing personal question, "Master, is it necessary to go to the church or the major families in the oasis to initiate evolution? What to do if encountering an emergency in the wild where evolution is needed to break through the situation?" The reason Lin Feng was willing to relinquish the opportunity for evolution, besides the enmity with Chen Shanshan due to his orders, was also his cautiousness towards unknown things. Due to the unknown effects of mutated wolfang, he feared the provided evolution liquid might also have corresponding side effects. They might leave behind measures to coerce evolvers to continue serving the oasis, and other such threats. The forces capable of establishing lasting rule in the wasteland, none of them would be benevolent. Father Suan hesitated for a moment, then slowly opened his mouth. There is a portable extraction method. Through squeezing and filtering, it can extract basic evolution liquid, which can be tried in emergencies. As for upgrading after becoming an evolver, like during the enhanced person phase, just eat evolutionary meat. The physique of an evolver can withstand it. After answering, Suan provided detailed explanations. Single-use filtering equipment is available for sale at stores in Holy Spring Village, and it can reduce the impurities in the evolutionary meat by 90%, barely permitting direct consumption. But I suggest still bringing back the desolate beast. The medical room in the village preserves evolution liquid with 99% purity, which corresponds to circumstances like Miss Chen's evolution today. If blindly conducted outside, the risk of accidents is extremely high. I hold high expectations for you. Within the limits of my authority, exchanging one Tier 1 desolate beast for a single evolution surgery is already at maximum. The assistant priest in charge of logistics won't turn a blind eye. Given your current strength, teaming up with Miss Chen to hunt herbivorous Tier 1 desolate beasts is not a problem. Speaking, Suan pinched the bridge of his nose. The afternoon's research had been very exhausting. If there's nothing important, that'll be it for now. Lin Feng nodded, stood up, and upon leaving, reached into his pocket, taking out the medal for exchange, a gold and silver teaching emblem token. Master, then this. Father Suan revealed a subtly meaningful smile. It's not cheap, hold on to it well. It also symbolizes half membership with the church. Furthermore, don't keep calling me master, just call me Uncle Lin. There aren't so many formalities in the village. Come to play with the children when you have time. Lin Feng secured the teaching emblem close to himself. Thank you, Uncle Lin. After bidding farewell to the priest, he hurriedly returned to the medical room. Coincidentally, he encountered Qin Shanshan, who had just unbound herself and slowly regained consciousness, muttering hungry so Liu Qian helped her get back on the tricycle. In the carriage, Qin Shanshan ate a kilogram of wolf leg jerky in one go and then fell asleep again. Everyone thus rested for a while inside the church. An hour later, Qin Shanshan, recovered, emitted an immensely powerful aura from her entire body. Entirely different from before when she was level 9 enhanced. Lin Feng didn't pay much attention to this, and opened his mouth to ask, did you recall any past events? Chapter 47, As an Evolver, Qin Shanshan's superpower upon completing Tier 1 evolution, the memories of the evolver will gradually restore, recalling the details of past experiences. Qin Shanshan was momentarily stunned, then fell into reminiscence. A moment later, she spoke with a slightly confused look in her eyes. I remembered, on the day we entered the underground shelter, because the quota for each batch was limited, my parents worried we wouldn't get in later, so they pushed me forward to squeeze in first. Left themselves behind to wait for the next batch. I can't quite remember their faces, but the scene where they lifted me up and sent me in before the shelter's door closed is deeply etched in my mind. Lin Feng nodded. From Qin Shanshan's memory, it could also corroborate from a different angle that the Wandering Earth plan did happen back then, but surely something went wrong later. Seeing Qin Shanshan still trapped in her memories, Lin Feng patted her shoulder reassuringly. I'm sure your parents are fine. When we pass by the shelter where you woke up, we'll go down together to look for clues. Qin Shanshan nodded and wiped the tears at the corners of her eyes. At that moment, Lin Feng suddenly noticed that the once hideous scar on the lower half of her face, covered with coarse cloth, had faded significantly, leaving only a shallow white mark. Qin Shanshan's height had also increased by 2 or 3 centimeters. Finally, she was close to 1.60 meters tall. The benefits of evolution manifest in many ways. The girl whom Lin Feng was staring at felt a bit embarrassed, lowered her head to check her watch, and found that it was already 5 in the afternoon, hurriedly said, it's so late, I hope Ding Yi's group is okay? Lin Feng smiled, got up, and prepared to leave. Everything's solved, so let's go. Don't worry too much. Even if the people from Nongzhuang village are eager for revenge, they can't act openly in the village. It would be a slap in the face to the 5th village and the Hunting Wilderness Guild. A mere external supervisor doesn't have that qualification. It's an iron rule in Oasis Town that no one is allowed to attack others in the village, otherwise, the electric team wouldn't wait until everyone left the 5th village to take action. Qin Shanshan nodded and then followed Lin Feng. They mounted the tricycle and prepared to leave. Before setting off, Lin Feng called out to Alian beside him, rest tonight and discuss amongst yourselves whether to stay or leave. Anyway, our team welcomes you at any time. With Father Suan's personal promise, the Hunting Wilderness team being formed will soon see more evolvers born. Opportunities are rare, seize them well. See you at the guild early tomorrow morning. With that, they rode the armored tricycle, heading back, and left Holy Spring Village. The electric car team at the village entrance indeed left. As the most powerful force in Oasis Town, the Holy Spring sex energy radiated across the 5 villages below, with Father Suan being the most influential figure among the lower-class citizens. A single word from him was more effective than from the evolvers. They traveled back in reverse to the last of the 5th villages. After a series of twists and turns, they returned safely to the camp, hanging the tricycle at the back of the bus. Upon seeing Qin Shanshan return safely, Ding Yi excitedly stepped forward and hugged her tightly. I was so worried about you. Lin Feng handed the remaining dehydrated and dried wolf leg meat to Ding Yi and Liu Qian. He helped them continue to upgrade and enhance themselves. Now that Chen Shanshan, an evolver, was present, the group was about to form a specialized desert hunting team, and the strength of its members naturally had to be enhanced so that no one would fall behind. After the two women each took a kilogram of dried wolf leg meat, 60 pounds of wolf leg meat in total, 54 pounds were left. Chen Shanshan had also eaten a kilogram before. When Old Huang approached and noticed the change in Chen Shanshan's state, he immediately realized something. His lips trembled slightly. You. Chen Shanshan smiled faintly, took out a kilogram of dried wolf leg meat from the compartment, and handed it over. Thanks for your care before. I'll be staying a few more days. Old Huang looked at the hefty piece of wolf meat in his hand. The energy emanating from the meat was very tempting. Even though he had been a level 9 enhanced person for many years, since retiring, he rarely ate level 9 enhanced meat. Over time, his physique declined significantly, making it hard to exert his peak strength. This piece of level 9 enhanced meat could at least partially restore his strength, letting Old Huang live a few more years. Although late-stage enhanced people originally had a lifespan of 200 years, very few lived beyond 100 in the harsh wasteland environment. Coupled with the after-effects of struggles in their younger years, most died by 60 or 70. The permanent residents in the village could only manage to free their legs and scrape by. Old Huang deeply inhaled the wolf meat's fragrance, then carefully put away the precious enhanced meat instead of tasting it immediately, intending to save it for his son. In the compartment, Lin Feng, lying on the bed playing with the shotgun spoils, teased, I thought Old Huang would call you Lord. Beside him, Ding Yi, who was cutting dried wolf leg with a dagger, pushed up her glasses and added, sigh. There's already a pitiful thick barrier between us. Although Chen Shanshan only graduated from elementary school and didn't understand the teasing of the two below her, her instincts told her it wasn't anything good, so she rolled her eyes. Alright, from now on, please call me Lord Chen. Lin Feng and the other exchanged a smile. Hello, Lord Chen. At this moment, Chen Shanshan gradually came to realize the deeper meaning in Lin Feng and Ding Yi's words, understanding that there might not be another chance to move into this bus, so she said with some sadness, Old Huang helped me a lot before, and when I was at my lowest, he even took me in for over a month without charge. He's one of the few friends I had in the village. Ding Yi stood up and held the girl's hand. On the journey of life, you will always see different sceneries and meet different people. Learn to move forward and look ahead. Lin Feng also comforted and advised her. Old Huang led a carefree life and finally achieved a successful landing. In the future, just take care of his son a bit more. Chen Shanshan nodded and directed the small electric fan at the head of the bed towards herself. The annoying buzzing sound didn't seem so annoying anymore. In order to change the subject, Lin Feng then brought up Chen Shanshan's newly awakened superpower. This was a question he originally wanted to ask at Holy Spring Village, but held back because Aoyan was present. Your new ability, Father Suan said, has a special blinding effect that can shield nearby sight. Hearing about the superpower, Chen Shanshan froze for a moment, then excitedly sat cross-legged. I heard from Liu Qian that during the evolution process, the first use of the superpower has a special effect, but unfortunately, it seems to be in the state when I completely activated it. It can absorb external light and directly turn the space within a 30-meter diameter into darkness. But this extreme release consumes a lot of spirit and can only be maintained for less than 10 seconds. With normal use, it's about targeting any area within 30 meters for vision stripping. Do you guys want to try it? Ding Yi was a bit scared, as she hadn't seen an evolver use a superpower yet. Lin Feng stuck his head out from the lower bunk. I'll give it a try. Chen Shanshan immediately looked down at Lin Feng, her pupils constricting sharply. The next moment, Lin Feng's vision was like a switch had been flipped off. The view in front of him instantly plunged into darkness. Even rubbing his eyes didn't help. This stripping of light wasn't superficial but directly blocked the pupil's perception of light. Even when Lin Feng pulled his head back and looked out the window, it was still incredibly dark. Without light hitting the lens, naturally, there could be no imaging. The blinding effect lasted almost a minute until Chen Shanshan snapped her fingers, actively lifting it. The girl then excitedly said, How is it? Couldn't see anything, right? Lin Feng nodded, recalling Suan's evaluation. Yes, it directly shields vision. This auxiliary ability is extremely useful, with a high potential for growth and development. It's well suited for you to engage in close combat while carrying a gun, unexpectedly interfering with the enemy in the moment of engagement. You'll need to train to blind multiple targets simultaneously in the future and extend the usage time and range of the superpower. Chen Shanshan nodded and recalled something else. Did Father Suan have any other instructions later on? Didn't he call you alone to the office? Lin Feng made a sound of acknowledgement, his expression gradually turning serious. After the next Holy Spring Day, a relic will pass by Oasis Town, and by then, the priest will have a task that requires us to complete. As for now, we need to first assemble our desert hunting team, then go hunt a Tier 1 desolate beast, gather equipment, and quickly increase the number of evolvers in the team. Saying this, Lin Feng looked at the shotgun in his hand. The two shotguns were being upgraded, one for Chen Shanshan to enhance firepower, the other left for Ding Yi for self-defense. As for his own branded equipment, the level 8 Wolf Fang handgun, Lin Feng plans to unlock permissions using Chen Shanshan's evolver status when they go to the Hunting Wilderness Guild tomorrow, purchase firearm parts, and proceed with upgrades and enhancements. To compensate for the shortcoming in aiming accuracy. After eating some wolf meat, Lin Feng stretched and comfortably lay on the bed. This wolf hunting operation has exhausted everyone. Let's have a good sleep and set out early tomorrow. Establish the desert hunting team, and purchase a vehicle, a battle wagon of our own. Chapter 48, New Members. Forming the desert hunting team after sleeping for more than 10 hours, Lin Feng woke up slowly with a yawn, catching a glimpse of the upgrade completion notification out of the corner of his eye. Before falling asleep, he ate some wolf meat, consuming 6 points of life value, and upgraded 2 level 4 shotguns to level 7, white quality, shotgun level 7, basic attributes, damage, 40, effective range, 70 meters, remaining ammunition, 10, durability, 10 out of 10, upgrade mechanic, can consume 1 life value to continue upgrading, extra attributes, bullet head switch, can switch to shotgun mode. Low shotgun damage, low penetration, wide dispersal, suitable for group damage, evaluation, an inferior old-style shotgun, upgraded to its limit as a shotgun. After branding, its upgrade potential can be increased. High damage, short range, only suitable for close combat. Initially, at level 4, its damage was 25 points, but the range was only 40 meters. Now, with 3 consecutive upgrades, the damage has increased to 40 points, and the range increased by 10 meters per level. However, due to its outdated structure, even the bullet loading requires manually removing the shell, loading, aiming, and then firing in single-shot mode, with no drum or magazine. Each time after firing, the fastest it takes is 4 to 5 seconds to reload and aim again. Apart from its great power, the rest are all drawbacks. But its power is genuinely great. A single shot can directly blast through a same-level enhanced creature, with damage even higher than the armor-piercing horn bow. However, the range is too short. If the first shot misses, by the time for the second shot the enemy is either already in front or has long since escaped the range. In actual combat, it's hard to have the chance to fire a second shot. Chi Mountain and others had already proven with their lives that there is only one chance. However, when Lin Feng handed over the upgraded shotgun to Chen Shanshan and another woman, they happily took it, exploring how to aim and reload. Lin Feng introduced the power of the level 7 shotgun on the side, and instructed them not to load bullets usually, keeping the safety on to avoid accidental discharge. Upgraded to level 7, with 40 points of damage, and a thumb-thick bullet, a single shot can directly break an arm or leg. Its power is no joke. For deserters, though firearms lack ammo supplies, if the power is strong enough, even a single shot equates to a life-saving chance. Like this wolf hunting mission, if holding a shotgun, even Ding Yi, who has no combat experience, could stay in the trike and single-handedly kill a late-stage desolate wolf. Unfortunately, the shotgun structure is too outdated, and nothing extra can be upgraded. Don't underestimate the O5 revolver's low power, but at least it's a modern product of the 21st century, merely having reduced bullet lethality. Other large-caliber versions are quite powerful. And shotguns seem to be invented in ancient times, evolved maturely by the 17th century, often used by pirates. The structure is just a simple iron pipe with a firing device. Even if Lin Feng were to equip such a secondary weapon, he'd have to buy a modern-designed semi-automatic shotgun with ample upgrade potential, to avoid wasting life value. And now, it's time to head to the Hunting Wilderness Guild to upgrade the team's weapons and gear up. Transform the results of this wolf hunting mission into tangible combat power. Lin Feng pulled out the squad card from his pocket as well as the anonymous ID card from the Holy Spring village, revealing a faint smile. After washing up, the group of 5 rode an armored trike and 2 bicycles, heading to the Hunting Wilderness Guild. Early in the morning, the guild was not crowded, unusually quiet. Lin Feng and his group entered lightly equipped. Security guard Uncle Wu at the entrance smiled reassuringly at Chen Shanshan and said proactively, "You've finally grown up, resembling your master from back then. You can already handle affairs alone." Chen Shanshan nodded in gratitude and said, "Thank you, Uncle Wu." After a brief chat, the group arrived at the hall, and Lin Feng immediately spotted Alian and her group sitting in the corner. 5 people came in total, including the level 9 enhanced person who was absent before, due to serious injuries. He didn't participate in the wolf hunting mission, but as an important leader of Li Hu's team, he also needed to make this trip. Lin Feng walked directly over and asked for their opinions. The 3 team members surviving from the wolf hunting mission chose to withdraw and leave. Lin Feng nodded without wasting words, motioning for Liu Qian to take 2 cards for exchange into points chips. Li Hu's team killed 4 desert wolves in total, totaling 400 points, exactly 100 points per person. Plus, the team points card still had 624 points, considering the team's overall tally of 21 people, each got 30 points. Thus, giving each of them 130 points resulted in a total deduction of 390 points. Currently, 2,534 points remained. Lin Feng then looked at the last 2 people. If Alian also chose to leave, 2 people at 160 points would be insignificant. But the team would lose a major support since Alian's combat experience is rich, far surpassing Liu Ningfei's. This is when a woman in front spoke up, "You can let me join, but I have a condition." Lin Feng frowned slightly, he didn't like negotiating conditions. "Speak." Alian turned sideways, revealing the person behind her and spoke, "I want Ming to join with me, but she injured her thigh in the last wolf pack ambush, needing at least a holy spring day to rest." Cough, cough, Alian, no need. At this moment, Ming, sitting, spoke up, her voice weak but delicate in tone. Lin Feng paused for a moment, then looked closely. This person wore a hood with a slanting fringe, half her face covered, her complexion pale, clearly not yet recovered. When they first met on Holy Spring Day, Lin Feng always thought that Li Hu's trio consisted of 2 men and 1 woman. After all, this person in front of him was dressed like a man and hadn't spoken a single word from start to finish. Now upon closer inspection, the other person had no Adam's apple, and their voice wasn't as rough as a man's. Plus, there was the deep gaze exchanged between Alian and her. Lin Feng's mouth twitched slightly as he nodded. "All right, the team doesn't mind an extra mouth to feed. Recover fast and you can help out sooner." Even though a level 9 enhanced person couldn't compete with an evolver, they were still extremely enhanced and could lend a hand in battle, giving Lin Feng no reason to refuse. Taking a few days of rest was nothing, they had no shortage of enhanced meat. Ming can deploy under range tactics, helping improve the team's combat power, definitely won't be useless. Hearing Lin Feng agree, Alian sighed in relief and added. She needed to ensure that Lin Feng was genuinely willing to accept a temporarily injured burden. Lin Feng was secretly pleased. What the team most urgently needed was guidance on specific combat strategies, developing squad battle modes based on each person's fighting style and capabilities. It seemed this tomboy named Ming was the true precious member of Li Hu's squad. No wonder when the squad suffered severe losses, other injured teammates perished, while only Ming, whom Li Hu never gave up treating, survived. The squad's formation into a square formation and their cooperation evidently stemmed from Ming's guidance and training. "No problem, let's discuss this later." Lin Feng smiled and then said, "For now, let's take care of the immediate business first. To be clear, our team's rules are that points are shared, meeting the overall needs of the team first, and any leftover is divided amongst individuals. Any issues?" Alian and Ming exchanged a glance and nodded in agreement. Lin Feng then led the team to the counter. "Hello, we'd like to apply to establish a desert hunting team." The counter lady was taken aback, paused to explain, "Sorry, only evolvers are eligible to apply for the desert hunting team. Please upgrade your hunter's license first." Then, the lady at the counter summoned someone from the back, who took Chen Shanshan aside for testing. The method for testing was simple, lifting a 1-ton water storage tank in the rest area for more than a minute, to prove capability. Normally, a level 9 enhanced person at full strength might lift it for just a few seconds before exhausting themselves and collapsing. Only an evolver with a super physique, having undergone cellular metamorphosis, would possess a ton of basic power. Just lifting a 1-ton water tank was a breeze. After upgrading the hunter's license to an evolver's, they automatically received 5th village permanent resident status, unlocking numerous other privileges. The staff explained enthusiastically. Including forming a desert hunting team, claiming oasis bounty orders, exchanging for advanced materials, and even qualifying for shopping credits for loans on high points tasks, allowing early spending. During the desert hunting team registration, the counter lady asked everyone for their bound residential address, essentially just their trailer home. Evolvers typically sign long-term cooperation agreements with the 3 major villages to acquire basic equipment for resolving food, drink, and defecation issues, quickly forming combat strength. However, Chen Shanshan was one of the rare free evolvers, and since the group currently lacked their own vehicle, they initially registered at Old Huang's bus hotel. There was 1 evolver and 4 level 9 enhanced persons, Each granted a quota of 50 liters of water every Holy Spring Day, only charging a nominal 2 pieces of dried meat per pound. It's equivalent to 1 point exchanging 50 liters of water. This granted the desert hunting team temporary permanent resident status. Also counted as a major guild benefit. Additionally, once obtaining a certain number of task points in the future, level 9 enhanced persons in the team can attain permanent 5th village resident status. This is also why many level 9 enhanced persons seek to join desert hunting teams. Even though following an evolver on missions is equally dangerous, it's better than going solo. Like Lihu's top-tier deserter squad, encountering a pack of wilderness wolves, they would be severely hit instantly. Without an evolver to lead, the risk-bearing capacity is too low. After forming the desert hunting team, the group received a 250-liter quota of fresh water, which could be claimed from the warehouse vehicle nearby. This directly solved the team's future water needs. But what's most crucial now is heading to shop in Mechanical Village and Dawn Village, to customize an electric combat vehicle for the squad's future travels. This would significantly expand the team's operational range, no longer limiting them to the vicinity of Oasis Town. An electric car could carry the entire team miles away to search for large desolate beast groups. Given sufficient supplies, they could even survive in the wilderness for months. That's why you rarely see evolvers around 5th Village, as they mostly take their hunter squads onto the desolate and remote wilderness. Sometimes they won't return till a whole Holy Spring Day or month has gone by. Now Lin Feng's squad is just one solar-powered electric combat vehicle away from becoming a true desert hunting team. Chapter 49, Jinbai Hyas and the expensive photovoltaic panels. The group quickly arrived at the shop in Mechanical Village. Last time they had already inquired about the price. A small generic van that is 1.6 meters wide, 1.8 meters high, and about 4 meters long, without the power system. The bare configuration costs about 300 points. Just a frame and 4 tires. Add a bit more money for 2 spare tires. But such a small van certainly doesn't have enough space. Now the team, including the newly joined sisters Alyan, has 7 people in total. Squeezing into a small car is clearly unrealistic. After Lin Feng stated his request, the manager of the locomotive shop quickly gave a new recommendation, an extended version of the van. It was remodeled from the previous Jinbai brand Sea Lion. Lin Feng had also driven this model before for construction work in building underground shelters, loading one van full of people at a time. The manager took out a blueprint with data labeled on it. After modification, the width is 2 meters, internal width 1.9 meters, height is then 2.2 meters, the chassis is 30 centimeters high, the total vehicle length is 6 meters, with the driver's seat width of 1.5 meters, second row seats 1.5 meters, and a 3-meter full-length compartment in the third row. The rear compartment can be modified into 2 layers of bunks on the left and right sides. Equivalent to 470 centimeter single beds, plus the second row seats can be laid flat, enough for 2 people to sleep. In this way, 6 people each have enough space to sleep, though someone always needs to drive and keep watch, so the beds are sufficient. Additionally, there are many places for storing supplies, such as under the seats, under the beds, and the space between each row. But the price is high, a size increase of 2/3 over the small van, and costs 500 points. According to Liu Mingfei, this is merely the bare vehicle, adding components and repair tools will require more money. In short, it's somewhat expensive. After some bargaining, they finally agreed on a package price including modification parts and 2 spare tires, totaling 600 points. After confirming the deal, the manager reminded everyone, after modifications and with the beds and components added, the whole vehicle is expected to weigh 1.5 tons. Remember to account for supplies and the number of people when determining how many square meters of photovoltaic panels you'll need. Lin Feng nodded, knowing that the next expenses would be the main part of the spending, with the photovoltaic panel-based complete electric energy system being very costly. After all, the car making in Mechanical Village involved rejuvenating old items, welding and assembling, with a constant flow of raw materials as long as they passed by city ruins. Whereas photovoltaic panels and motors are different, involving much more in the supply chain process. Photovoltaic semiconductors need to be supplied from Nongzhuang Village, transparent glass comes from the power furnace inside the Oasis battleship, copper core magnetic rings of motors must be found in underground ruins, and core control systems must be shipped from major cities. In the end, a complete photovoltaic power system would be hard to secure for less than 1,000 points. Lin Feng led the group to the Dawn store. The familiar middle-aged store manager with a broken leg, wearing glasses, smiled as he saw them arriving. He had been waiting for quite some time. Basically, each time Mechanical Village had a big sale, there would be business from Dawn Village. One produces frames, and the other provides power, solving the second biggest problem, apart from food and drink, on the Wasteland, living and transportation. Long time no see, The exhaust wind combat suit you're wearing is quite well assembled. Seeing the outfit on Lin Feng, the manager warmly greeted them. Come in and sit, have a look around, let me know if you need anything. Are you looking to order a complete photovoltaic power system? Dawn Village here happens to have some promotions going on with discounts recently. As he spoke, the manager took out several package lists from the counter and handed them to the 6 people present, praising his own products. As everyone knows, Dawn Village has the best photovoltaic technology in Oasis Town, and the giant photovoltaic panels on Oasis were entirely made by us. Even the large cities stores that sell photovoltaic panels collect from our products, blessed by the pilgrimage convoy every time, sending thousands of finished photovoltaic circuit boards to exchange for the scarce materials in Oasis Town. The quality is most guaranteed. Pointing to the package list, the manager said, currently, we have launched a total of 3 sets of finished systems. The standard version costs 50 points per square meter of photovoltaic panel, paired with a regular motor, providing power for items weighing 100 kilograms, suitable for lightweight low-speed vehicles. The advanced version is 100 points per square meter, paired with an advanced motor, providing driving power for items weighing 200 kilograms, suitable for all types of medium and small-sized general vehicles. As for the best top-of-the-line version, the price reaches 200 points per square meter, paired with the original relic motor, providing power for items weighing 500 kilograms, making it very suitable for large structures and heavy trucks. For example, the Hunting Wilderness Guild, storage warehouses, and the iconic buildings of the other 4 major villages all use this type. Even the giant photovoltaic panels on the Oasis use this model. But the top-of-the-line version is a bit too expensive. For ordinary deserters and devolvers like us, the advanced version is the most cost-effective. What are the specifications of the vehicle you selected? I'll design a plan for you right away. After the store manager introduced the 3 mainstream options, Lin Feng and the others looked at each other, feeling the pinch of their budget. The large Jinbai they ordered is 6 meters long and 2 meters wide, capable of loading up to 20 square meters of photovoltaic panels. The standard version provides traction power for 100 kilograms, with 20 square meters offering 2 tons. After deducting the vehicle weight of 1.5 tons, only 500 kilograms remain for the group. The 5 women average 70 kilograms each, and that's a conservative estimation. The newly joined Alian and Aming are over 1.7 meters tall, with level 9 enhanced people typically being muscular. Chapter 50, Golden Cup Sea Lion, Expensive Solar Panels, Part 2, it adds up to 350 kilograms. Both Lin Feng and Liu Mingfei are 1.8 meters tall, weighing no less than 90 kilograms each. Together, it adds up to 530 kilograms, which exceeds the power capacity. And this hasn't yet accounted for the 2 trailers being towed, as well as the supplies needed on the vehicle. Standard grade might be cheap, but its application range is limited. However, the advanced grade costs 100 points, and each 20 square meters amounts to 2,000 points, without even including the motor yet. Currently, our team's points don't even amount to 2,000. Although 20 square meters can pull 4 tons, considering 2 tons are accounted for by the vehicle and people, the remaining 2-ton power capacity is more than enough, but alas, the price is too steep. Unless we reduce the order quantity. If we order only 15 square meters, it would be 1,500 points, leaving us with 3 tons of power, and 1 ton of spare capacity. But 1 ton is still quite insufficient, as the 2 trailers weigh more than half a ton together, leaving the load capacity only able to carry 5 desert wolves, or 1 rock-horned horse. After deducting the costs of 1 excursion, we would earn less than 200 points. Liu Qian quickly calculated the result and stepped forward to inquire, "Boss, can you give us a discount? We need the advanced grade, but we're short on points." The manager nodded. The prices on the list are not fixed. They're merely upper-middle ranges, leaving room for negotiation for both parties. Here's the deal, since this brother of yours is a regular here, I'll give a 10% discount for an order of 10 square meters, 15% off for 20 square meters, and 20% off for anything over 30 square meters. At an 85% discount for 20 square meters, it still costs 1,700 points, leaving the group with only 260 points at most. They would need to trade their supply of wolf meat to afford the motor. What about the price for the motor system? Liu Qian continued to inquire. Seeing the customer was somewhat interested, the manager enthusiastically said, "It depends on how big your vehicle is. For a 20 square meter area, 6.5 by 3 meters, it would require a minimum of 300 points, along with an advanced motor. In total, just spending 2,000 points will get you everything. Additionally, we will send professional staff to collaborate with a mechanic at Mechanical Village to provide free installation service." Liu Qian turned around to discuss the feasibility with her team. Ding Yi was the first to refuse. "No, Doing this would not only deplete all 2,500 points, but we would also need to compensate part of it. Even if we have one means of transport, what about equipment updates for the other team members, especially those in charge of combat? If the team's combat capabilities don't significantly improve, we won't be able to hunt more desolate beasts, and we'll just end up with an electric car sitting idle. Although the newly joined Alian didn't speak directly, she agreed with Ding Yi's perspective. The vehicle is just a means of transportation. Ultimately, personal strength improvement is the most important. But due to the tight schedule, only a little over a week remains until the next Holy Spring Day, and the desolate beast resources near Oasis Town are almost depleted. To hunt more desolate beasts, the team must venture to the vast wilderness farther away. The third person to disagree was Lin Feng. He was waiting for firearm parts to arrive, to conduct the final level 9 enhancement on his Wolfang revolver. If all funds were spent on the electric vehicle, only Chen Chanshan, who became a Nevolver, would see significant improvement, while others wouldn't change much. How were they supposed to hunt large desert beast groups? Faced with this, Lin Feng had no choice but to use his talent ability, continuing what he did last time. Manager, can you bring out the samples of the photovoltaic panels used in the standard and advanced grades? I'd like to see the specific differences between the two since the price varies by more than double. The manager promptly took 2 photovoltaic panels, each 1 square meter, from the store wall and placed them on the counter. Lin Feng stepped forward to inspect them. These are finished photovoltaic circuit boards. Their surfaces are made of glass with high transparency. In the middle are 2 layers of photovoltaic thin film and silicon battery components, with a soft shell made of alloy boards on the back. At the end, there's a junction box where wires are connected, transferring the generated DC power into the motor to start working and providing forward power. As Lin Feng touched the photovoltaic panels, their information appeared faintly in his peripheral vision. White quality, inferior photovoltaic panel level 6, basic attributes, power generation efficiency, 10%, 24-hour power output, 1.5 kilowatt-hours, durability, 8 out of 10, upgrade mechanic, can consume 1 life value to upgrade, evaluation, meets the lowest level practical photovoltaic panel, but with low power generation efficiency. Can drive a 100 kilogram object per square meter, maintaining a maximum speed of 2 kilometers per hour. Notes, suitable for minimal power applications, not recommended for heavy machinery or sustained use. In contrast, the advanced grade photovoltaic panel had its efficiency markedly improved. Basic attributes, power generation efficiency, 20%, 24-hour power output, 3 kilowatt-hours, durability, 9 out of 10, upgrade mechanic, can consume 1 life value to upgrade, evaluation, excellent practical photovoltaic panel, with power generation efficiency at a normal level. Can drive 200 kilograms per square meter, maintaining a maximum speed of 2 kilometers per hour, with surplus electricity recommended for battery storage. Notes, recommended for medium-duty applications, can be paired with batteries to store surplus energy for later use. Their efficiency differed by 2 levels, with double the efficiency. Lin Feng calculated quietly. Consuming 2 life values could upgrade an inferior standard product to a standard high-grade one, equivalent to 2 kilograms of level 9 enhanced meat. This conversion is less than 10 points. Even if raising all 20 square meters to level 8, it would only require enhanced meat worth 200 points. Yet, the selling price difference between the two is 1,000 points. The profit within is obvious. So Lin Feng spoke immediately, let's go with the standard grade. 20 square meters can drive 2 tons of material, it's barely enough. The manager was a bit surprised, but the vehicle itself weighs a bit over 1.5 tons, plus the 6 of you. The spare power is too low if you encounter uphill terrain. Lin Feng shrugged, everyone can just get out and push the vehicle. Alright then, 20 square meters with a 15% discount, plus the advanced motor system, what's the total cost? The manager's mouth twitched. To be honest, the standard grade is typically the inferior product of each batch, failing to meet conversion rate standards. Their production cost is fixed, so the profit isn't that high. Furthermore, with low efficiency and a small application range, these are sold to recycle waste and at least recover some costs. A further 15% discount means little commission left. The manager immediately shook his head. The standard version doesn't actually make money. Offering an additional 15% discount means I'd end up at a loss. I have to sell them at the original price. Lin Feng's brow furrowed slightly. 10% off. Given the huge difference between standard and advanced grades, you will definitely make something. Along with the motor system, a total of 1,200 points. Can we do it? If not, we'll just abandon purchasing our own electric vehicle for now and search for contracts with other villages for a more convenient option. The manager became anxious when he saw the other party was ready to cancel the order. After all, after the desert hunting team signed a contract with the 3 major clans, The standard RVs procured were at the internal lowest price, barely making any profit, and it had nothing to do with him. Moreover, it would cause conflicts with the neighboring mechanic shop. He didn't want to just let go of such a big catch. After some deliberation, the manager finally agreed. They signed the contract and prepaid a deposit of 300. This way, the entire electric vehicle cost only 1,800 points, leaving the group with 734 points. Enough to purchase new equipment and enhance combat strength. Lin Feng's decision was clear. Chen Shanshan, Ding Yi, and others, including the Yu family siblings, understood his intentions behind choosing standard grade due to his superpower. Thus, they raised no objections. The newly joined Dalian and her companion didn't quite understand, but since the others had no issues and they saved a significant amount for new equipment, they nodded in agreement. Having finalized the purchase of the electric vehicle, Lin Feng and the team proceeded to the second floor of the guild to inspect the high-grade goods there. Currently, Lin Feng needed to scope the most, which was there. Chapter 51, Battle Armor, The Grand Shopping Spree, Level 9 Precision Handgun. With the remaining 730 shopping points, the group headed to the second floor of the guild. Due to the airtight environment, the air conditioning here was more sufficient than the lobby below, with a temperature around 25 degrees Celsius, and fewer people coming early in the morning. Usually, only near noon would the staff post the tasks received yesterday and release new bounty orders. Lin Feng and the others walked to the other side outside the bulletin board. This was the guild's specialized equipment store, dedicated to serving evolvers, providing high-end goods required by the desert hunting team. The majority of items here were brought in from the major cities, while a small portion came from the harvests of past ruins. If the 4 major villages have no need for them, they could sell them to the guild in exchange for points. Most prevalent among them are weapons, followed by armor and protective gear, as well as outdoor survival necessities such as tents, mattresses, binoculars, entrenching tools, and portable small medical first aid kits. Compared to ordinary deserted village squads, professional desert hunting teams have considerably better equipment treatment. This is what human life should be. Fully equipped, though the prices are not so beautiful. Survival small tools are generally around a dozen points each, followed by weapons. A military knife made of high-carbon steel costs 20 points. Machetes and spears also cost 40 to 50 points. Long-range weapons are more expensive. Pistols are generally sold for 70 to 80 points, bullets at 1 point for 10 rounds, rifles being the most expensive, with replica X selling for 250, bullets at 1 point for 5 rounds. Chen Shanshan presented the Evolver certificate, and the store manager enthusiastically introduced the products to the group. Lin Feng picked up the replica X and took a look. Not only were the manufacturing techniques very rough, but there were also various flaws in the details, with very low durability, feeling as if it was refurbished second-hand goods. The advantage is high damage, level 7 EK, with basic damage of 35 points, plus all bullets being full power rounds, strong penetration, at an additional 5 points damage ink raise, white quality, replica EK rifle level 7, basic attributes, damage, 35, effective range, 800 meters, remaining ammunition, 0 out of 30 rounds, durability, 6 out of 10, upgrade mechanic, can consume 1 life value to upgrade, extra attributes, full power rounds, damage plus 5, automatic mode, fire rate 20 rounds per second, evaluation, a semi-handcrafted automatic rifle, produced with old milling machines and faulty precision tools. A classic AK replica. Severely worn, low durability affects shooting accuracy and makes it prone to jamming. Wasteland industry rarely produces exquisite weapons, but despite its shabby condition it remains usable, 40 points of damage, the same as a shotgun, and it's an automatic rifle with powerful firepower. Apart from bullets being somewhat expensive, there are also problems of jamming and low shooting accuracy. The shortcomings are indeed many. Although for Lin Feng these are not a big deal, as long as it's upgraded, most issues can be resolved. But the problem is the replica AK and the current Wolfang revolver already have overlapping functions, and there's no need to spend 250 points to buy this industrial scrap. Swapping for enhanced meat to upgrade a pistol multiple times yields the same effect. Moreover, the current Wolfang handgun completely meets the needs. The firepower has already exceeded excessively. Holding another identical gun is not as good as buying a set of armor to improve the defense. With 730 points, this time is mainly for Chen Shanshan and Lin Feng's equipment upgrades, especially for the former, as the only evolver in the team currently. When hunting beasts, she definitely has to charge into the fray. A set of high-quality armor is very necessary. But armor and protective gear are precisely the most expensive in the store. A professional camouflage combat suit with exhaust fan cooling function costs 100 points. An alloy steel bulletproof insert plate costs 30 points. Level 3 helmet, chest armor, back armor, shoulder armor, arm guards, leg guards, and combat boots. The entire set forms a battle armor, with a minimum of 350 points. Wearing it can withstand rifle bullets or over a ton of impact, as well as the bites of level 9 desolate beasts. With the physique of an evolver and wearing such armor, it can be called a human-shaped light tank, just like the fearless warrior in the game, charging into the beast pack as if slicing melon. Except for Tier 1 evolved desolate beasts that can power struggle back and forth, ordinary late-stage enhanced beasts are completely powerless to retaliate. The only drawback is that the whole set weighs 80 kilograms. Even for late-stage enhanced people, running a few kilometers would be exhausted to the point of collapse. Only evolvers with strong physique can wear it flexibly and continuously fight. Although very heavy, the flaws don't overshadow its merits. The most difficult situation in the Wasteland is getting injured, and a full-body battle armor can greatly reduce the likelihood of suffering external injuries. At most, there's bone fracture internal injuries from collision impact, as long as it's not tier external injuries causing massive bleeding. Relying on the physique of evolvers, all can recover. For this, Lin Feng was very tempted. Although expensive, requiring 350 points, it can greatly enhance survival in combat. Even if it costs nearly half of the remaining points, the enhancement of Chen Shanshan's ability is undoubtedly enormous. Should an encounter with the Desert Wolf Pack arise, having her wear this battle armor, she can single-handedly take on the entire wolf pack without any problem. Thus, upon Lin Feng's proposal, everyone unanimously decided to purchase a set of battle armor. And due to Chen Shanshan's physique, the final custom-made battle armor was only 1.70 meters tall, saving a lot on material costs. After bargaining, it was settled at 300 points. The downside is it is suitable only for Chen Shanshan. Lin Feng couldn't even fit into it. Currently, there are still 430 points remaining, as Chen Shanshan has already spent the major portion.